What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another Reviews Core podcast, also known as ARC Podcast. I'm your host, Red Devil Loves Reviews, and I'm here again with my co-host.
Hi. So, sorry, does it work now? Or just like something just happened?
Yeah, that's
Okay. Fuck.
that's Unity Review and Analysis.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
so before we get started, just a reminder, we are having another we have another channel now for where our episodes will go after after like today. So if you guys could subscribe to another Reviews Corp podcast, there you can see the playback of these live streams. And yeah,
Yep.
so yeah, you'll be able to watch the live now on my channel, and then if you want to see them again, the next day you'll see them on another Reviews Corp podcast. So please subscribe to that. And Unity, if you could put the link to the channel, another Reviews Corp podcast, in the description at some point, that'd be good.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. I can. Oh, hi.
Hi, Operation. And yeah. So once again, welcome if you're here live. Welcome if you're listening to us on another Reviews Corp podcast channel, or welcome if you are listening to us on Spotify, also available the next day after this episode. And yeah, so
Yep.
Unity, what are we talking
Great.
about today?
So we're just gonna talk about all the movies we saw in 2023, like the best and the worst ones.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yep.
Honestly, what do you think about this year in terms of the movies side?
They are getting worse and worse. Literally, every year is just worse and worse. From what I
Honestly,
see so far.
I think now it's getting better from November, December,
Um,
from what I understand.
I don't know. It's like because December is like the most busiest for me. It's like I don't even have time to watch any movies. My
Yeah,
lord.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, because nowadays, like I do think like this year's award race will be pretty competitive, especially for the actress and supporting actress side. I
Mm.
honestly can't really determine who is the. I can already think of like a lot of people who get snubbed, and we'll definitely talk about some of those today.
Yep. Great.
Yeah,
Because I don't know what would they nominate. I didn't see any Martin Scorsese movies or The Killer by what the it's like
the Flower Moon. Yeah,
yeah, Killer of the Flower Moon. The movie by what the it's like fuck the guy the person who directed the social network. I'm blanking his name. Uh, David Fincher, the David Fincher movie.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's kind of it. Oh no.
yeah, yeah. I've also haven't been able to watch that yet. But we'll do our best. So as we have in the title, we got the best, the worst, the disappointing, the underrated, and overrated movies of 2023. Obviously, we're not going to be able to talk about everything in the span of our discussion, but here's some movies that are not going to be talked about. For example, May December. I just watched this last night, and
Yeah.
it is really good. It is kind of like a sensitive topic in terms of what the movie is about. So it is kind of difficult to really pitch, um, you know, because it involves like Natalie Portman's character is an actress, and she has to play Julianne Moore's character, who was a sex offender, or technically is, and she
Yeah.
just has to basically act. She's trying to learn her life so that she can portray that character in a movie that she's working on. So that's
Yep.
basically what the movie's about.
Which is funny because
Um,
which is
Yeah,
funny because I have to I have to play in a from my I have to play as a character who's basically a sex offender for my friend.
yeah.
Oh my
It's
god.
the it is something like when you think about like the process like of how to get into that character. It's like you really have to. I don't know how it is like it is something like you kind of marvel at in terms of like you really gotta go someplace where you really wish you wouldn't, and like how do you get yourself into that mindset? Um, yeah, so that's like I don't know. That's like I find that like it's one of the struggles of being an actor, I guess.
Yeah, it's
Sometimes you got to do something you probably really don't want to do.
yep. I mean, to be honest though, it's kind of weird when because a lot of acting friends, it's like, and they are not really. They are. Let's just say sometimes they're not really free when it comes to some scripts.
Yeah. Also, I also hear that Charles Melton is getting a lot of nominations for awards as well, so that's good for him.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so yeah, May December won't be on this list. Also, Eileen won't be on this list either. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, it's on my watch list, but I don't have time to watch it.
I'm definitely interested. It's Anne Hathaway and Thompson McKenzie, and
Yep.
yeah, I'm definitely interested. Also, Godzilla -1 will also not be mentioned as well. I also plan to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Um, I was kind of confused because, like, um, the because like we also saw the Godzilla Kong trailer like just a few days ago, and like I was wondering like why is there so many Godzilla stuff right now? It's like it's like this is from Japan, and not from Hollywood, so that explains a lot.
Yeah, and I heard a lot of praise for it. Just like it literally just dominated the internet.
Yeah,
In fact,
I know
yeah,
I know Operation saw the movie. If
yeah,
he's still in chat, I guess he could probably give us a non-spoiler, and we can put it up on the screen.
yeah.
But yeah,
That's a situation. I just don't know what the fuck.
yeah. So
And
yeah,
so actually move on. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay,
That's
okay.
pretty much it. Hmm.
Yeah. So you know, and then also obviously like when there's more films like for the rest of this year, obviously won't be able to be on there based on today's date, uh, December 8th. So just keep that in mind as well.
Also, we're just two people. We can't watch every single thing in the world. Just saying.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, if you're wondering which movie we didn't, it's like what do you think of this movie? Just put it down below. We're free to listen to, and we just gotta comment down.
yeah. Um,
Oh, that's the comment.
yeah. There he is. So, Operation says that Godzilla -1 was awesome. I can't recommend it enough. Not only are there fantastic monster sequences, but they're such a compelling human story that you won't just be waiting for the next one. Yeah, as I know, like one of the most common criticisms of the MonsterVerse is that the human characters suck. Um, though sometimes the fights suck too,
Yeah,
but especially the human characters are probably the
yeah.
worst part,
I
other
think I
than
think the
Bryan
yeah
Cranston.
yeah, but literally the only character I gave a shit in the entire MonsterVerse. I'm not kidding.
Yeah,
And they kill him off after like what an hour into the first movie. It's like, jeez,
yeah, yeah. And like I'm pretty sure in that movie, like you can't even see Godzilla for most of it because it's like really dark. And then I think they tried to course correct that by putting in Godzilla too much into the second movie.
I was like, no, no, no. I mean, but they didn't listen to the fact that you guys, everyone hated the fact you kill off Bryan Cranston. just,
Yeah,
just saying, you probably need to fix the characters.
yeah. Still hurts that they wasted Bryan Cranston. Yeah, Sure.
Yeah, we're just talk. I mean, it's like if I'll be fine if the if Aaron Taylor Johnson or Elizabeth Olsen's character are interesting, but they're quite bland.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, as we mentioned before, well, I guess we can't properly talk about 2023 movies without getting into the craze that was Barbenheimer of this year. Um, you know, Barbie and Oppenheimer both came out on the same day, July 21st, and it's had a lot of hype in terms of these are two very different kinds of media that are on the same day. You got Greta Gerwig writing and directing for Barbie, and Christopher Nolan with the Oppenheimer
Yep.
as well. And then obviously, like with the I like that people have tried to do this again with like Saw Patrol, because like Paw Patrol and Saw 10 were on the same day apparently, but nobody really cared. Yeah, I don't know. Barbenheimer was just like a unique thing for the memes. So, but that's kind of the other thing. The memes definitely played a huge
Really?
contributing part into making it what it
Oh,
was.
oh, pretty much. Just like I mean, they also making a movie literally about Barbenheimer. So,
Yeah, they are making a movie about Barbenheimer, the concept.
such a weird thing. Uh,
Yeah, I guess we can briefly talk about both films. Is
uh,
there anything you want to start off with?
I don't really have strong opinions. I mean, I don't know. I think I mean, if you want to ask me which is better, Oppenheimer, because
Yeah,
that's literally like no plot issues. I'm not kidding. It's just it's just someone just like okay, that's a bit too fast, but well, just like the plot is quite airtight, and the scenes move like in a fast pace, but you still understand the character mindset. So that's basically what Oppenheimer is.
yeah. I mean, my main criticism is basically the same criticism for any Nolan movie. His women characters are terrible. Um, I mean, Emily Blunt is fine, but Florence Pugh is just incredibly wasted. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's true. And then there's a lot of actors just like throwing one scene in that movie. It's
yeah,
insane.
yeah. That was kind of like a whiplash for me because like there's so many actors like in this film. I mean, obviously it's like it's a historical movie, so there's a lot of people that's a part of somebody's life, like Oppenheimer. So it makes sense.
Mm,
But yeah, it's just like you. There's like so many actors that you just see, and it's like, man, that's crazy. Like, and some of them is like you haven't seen in a while. Like Josh Peck from Drake and Josh was just the guy who
yep,
turned
pretty
the
much.
bomb key. You
And
also
then
had like
there's
Dane DeHaan. You had Rami Malek. You
yeah,
had Alden. I think Alden's character. I can't pronounce his last name. Young Han Solo.
oh yeah,
Um,
Elden, right.
Alden. Yeah.
He actually has the fourth biggest screen time because he's shared
Yeah.
because he's with most of the scenes with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, his character is the fictional character out of everybody in the movie. Everybody else was like a historical related character, but historical accurate person. But like Alden's character is just like the audience character, basically. Since
Mm.
just to like break down what's going on in Robert Downey Jr.'s head, um, that kind of thing. Especially the whole sabotage with Oppenheimer and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Ah,
pretty much.
yeah,
So yeah, that's Oppenheimer. So the uh, yeah, that's the better one. And then there's Barbie.
half of Hollywood was in that one. Yeah,
Pretty much.
pretty
Uh,
much.
I mean, even some actors is like, okay, I know you, like you're
Uh,
Emma Dumont from The Gifted who plays Polaris, and you are
Honestly, I was gonna tell you this last night. Like, I did not recognize Emma Dumont until like I only figured that out like after I watched the movie, went on Wikipedia, and then oh, that was her.
yeah,
I guess I'm used to her green hair, so for
yeah.
Polaris.
Yeah, that's how I die, but
Yeah. Yeah. I guess like another thing for Oppenheimer, since before we go to Barbie, as the Indian, um, obviously like there's the whole thing with the quote, I have become death, the destroyer of worlds, coming from the Bhagavad Gita. Obviously, this problem is not anywhere comparable to Japan and their controversies with the movie, so I'm just gonna keep that clear. But yeah, I mean, obviously, like one of the biggest criticisms from the Indian community is like, you had like this is a very, Oppenheimer used to read the Bhagavad Gita, and he was that it was something that he was very interested in. And like you have that scene where he's having sex with Florence Pugh, and then they stop having sex. She gets the book, ask him to read this one specific line in the Gita, which is kind of like, I mean, that was kind of weird. It's like, well, she like randomly pointed at a line, like it's a book page, and she's just pointing at a line, and that just happens to be the iconic quote. And then, not to mention the concept of you're fucking someone while saying
yeah,
a line from a
her character is
spirit, like a
weird.
historic, like a spiritual book. So it's like, I don't know, it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, her character is weird. Just like, yeah, I love you, but I actually cheat on you. But I love you, but I killed her. I killed myself after 4 scenes. Like, okay.
Nothing turns a lady on like talking about the end of the world. Yeah, that's
I
it is
mean,
what it,
it's
honestly.
like, yeah,
Go
it's like
ahead.
it's a Attack of the Clones. It's like, oh, Anakin just like, I killed all the Tusken Raider after my mom died. And Pat was like, oh my god, that's so hot.
Oh my god. Yeah, and then also like honestly, I think I again, none of us are complaining about Florence Pugh being naked or having sex or anything like that. We're not complaining at all. I just think
Yeah.
like because like I know for one of Nolan's like previous things is like, he's not, his sex scenes aren't like that. But like the thing is like honestly, the sex scenes were here were so weird. Um, like especially the one in the interrogation room. Like I understand it's like it's in Emily Blunt's imagination basically, but it's like it's so weird. Like because
Mm,
like they have Cillian like naked, and then all of a sudden Florence is there, and like they're still in like the interrogation room. I know it's in her head, but it's like it's just weird. Like of a concept. Like, did you have to film it like that? I don't know. I just found that was
mm,
like a weird scene to me.
yeah, that's pretty much. That's kind of it.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
Oppenheimer. It's a good movie.
To be honest, if I'm talking about it, it's like one of the best blockbusters technically because there's so little blockbusters here that are good.
Yeah, yeah, but it's like I also find it like it's like obviously it's a I know another criticism was like it's a long movie in general.
I mean,
Um,
have you? There are long movies. I mean,
yeah,
that's a Christopher Nolan movie, so I don't
yeah.
really care.
I mean, I feel like you could have shaved 20 minutes off. But what does that really mean? You just got to prioritize what that means, though. So I can't define that. So
Mm.
it's not really worth it. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much Oppenheimer, and that leads us into Barbie side of the discussion. Um, honestly, I do feel like some of the discourse for Barbie was kind of silly. Like in the sense, like I mean, I had fun with it, and that's all I really wanted out of Barbie. So
Yeah. To be honest, I stopped talking about it after a few days after the movie ended. Technically, it's like, I mean, after I just only bring it more after I go back to uni with some friends. It's just like, and it's weird because my university is like, oh my god, we're watching Barbie again. It's some of my female classmates like, yay! And all I can think of is, I think I have enough.
yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I mean, like the whole discussion is like, that's a lot of politics in the movie. It's like, Barbie is a political character, so in history,
And
so
yeah, it's
that kind
weird.
of makes sense.
Do hmm, I don't know because there's like there's a few things I do subscribe to, like Ken is the best character, and I do feel for him the most.
I mean, so I mean with I mean obviously with like Ryan Gosling, he does a great job in the movie. I mean, I still I still do want to give Margot Robbie her credit because like I mean I have seen some comments saying like Ryan carried the movie and like that really isn't fair to Margot because she
I
does
have
a phenomenal job in the movie as well.
To be honest, I don't
Um,
know. I don't know. Are they just saying the character or the actor? So I just assume it's the character. So I just
I
why?
mean, I still don't agree because like like I mean honestly, my favorite moments of the film was like her conversation uh with the old woman on at the bus stand, which is actually Barbara, the daughter of the Barbie creator. So that was a nice Easter egg. Like
Uh,
how she looks at her and says that she's beautiful. I really like that moment, and I also like the conversation with Ruth, the Barbie creator, which is obviously not the same person since Ruth has passed away. But I don't know. I did like I liked in that concept as of like Barbie kind of going through an existential crisis with relation to America's character having that issue as well. But I mean, there are some goofy stuff as well.
to,
Um,
uh,
especially like with how they decide to end the movie, like with regards to like
yeah, that's to be honest,
let's capture back all the Barbies and like I mean to be fair, it's like
I
I
don't
guess like
know.
that whole concept of
Oh,
with Ken like taking over in one
there's
day.
so much. To be honest, I just like there's so much bullshit.
No, the sex in the hearing was real. Oppenheimer was asserting his dominance. Yeah,
Wow. Uh,
I style.
hi. Now just talking about Barbenheimer.
We're just talking about Barbenheimer. We talked about Oppenheimer already. We're talking about Barbie now.
So Barbie for me, it's like that's a movie. I don't know. I mean, I feel a lot after the end, but the more I think about it, it's like there's a lot of problems, especially the plot and world building. It's like you sure this has never happened before? I mean, okay, it
They
happened
said it. They did say it happened before. It's just it wasn't as
one.
yeah.
You're just like no, this should have happened so many times, and just like how big is Barbie Land? It's like this shouldn't be a town. This should be the fucking world.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is like honestly, like I think I like the Barbie Land stuff more than the real world stuff. I mean, obviously, like
Uh,
the real world stuff. The problem is like
it's
it's not
bullshit.
really the real world. It is
It's a cartoon.
very cartoonish.
It's like
But at the same time, it's like I'm not gonna go too hard on a film that's clearly not taking itself seriously either. So that's kind of why it's
uh,
a hard film to really judge it in that sense. But then again, like I mean, then the other discussion is like
to be
there's a lot of
honest, the
political
way
themes in the film. It's just like if you want to talk about politics, you got to talk about how to take it seriously, which is like I mean I guess.
to be honest, I just can't give a shit anymore for politics. Just like I just spitball what I want to say about it. Whenever it comes to movies. To be honest, the only concern I just care is like how do people feel about it. It's like my close friends and stuff. It's like if not, just here's my honest take.
Yeah, I mean,
It's I mean for me, the movie has a lot of plot and world building issues. Like, hey, do you guys love that? Like, what is that? Will Ferrell's character is a fucking is a clown. Literally, just like he does
like
piss
any
like.
Will Ferrell character, I guess.
Hey, uh,
Another thing the thing we didn't mention from our first episode of Sex Education, you got three of them in this movie. Connor Swindle, Emma Mackey, and QT
no,
Gatwa.
no Gatwa.
Yeah,
This is such a this
so
is
that's pretty cool.
I mean, I'll just subscribe to a few things. Like, yeah, I like cannibals. I relate to him the most, so that I mean he has the most relatable flaws, and he has, you know, I do feel bad that he doesn't get more at the end. And also they should really have the, actually the Barbie and the Ken should be on the council one. It's like, yeah, you should do that instead of low with try. We're just gonna give you a small one.
Yeah, but to be fair on that front, I think they do like at least show like they have to kind of build up. Like you can't just like I mean like at least there's a starting point, I guess. And I can give it credit to the film that people say like, oh, it went right back to normal, like nothing happened. It's like, no, that's not true. They do try to incorporate Kens into a system, and obviously they're trying to build that up moving
Uh,
forward.
I'd
So it's
say
like,
there's a
so yeah, it's like I give the film like I don't think it's fair to say like nothing was fixed at the end.
um, I mean, I would say there's a lot of interesting ideas, just like attempts, like to try to talk more about different angles, but there's just, they should I don't know, redraft it at least one more time. You're
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Which is more disappointing because I'm actually looking forward to it because I like Greta Gerwig at it. And then there were bomb back, Marriage Story, Lady Bird, Little Woman. And
yeah.
it's like, God, this could be better. I just find it kind of mad at the end. It's like, that was meh.
That's where I'm at as well. I mean, I do think it's kind of silly because I did have a personal interaction with somebody who was saying like, oh, like she's doing Snow White and then this is Barbie, so we just have to assume her Chronicle of Narnia is gonna suck. It's like, no, she did a lot of other stuff before. It's like that doesn't really matter
For
because
me,
they're not blockbusters.
for
That's kind of silly logic.
for me, I just have so many takes about. I talk to so many people about different. They have so many different takes. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, real life, not online. It's like, holy shit! I'm not talking to It's like not. I'm not talking on Discord or just Twitter people.
yeah, I mean, I think Narnia will be fine. With Greta Gerwig. Um, I still think Narnia is not a good franchise to use in live action. I think it's a medium that's very suited for animation, but I can't really change that aspect. So
Yeah, because
it
the
is.
first. Yeah, by the way, the first movie isn't good. I saw it a few months ago. So it's actually shocked me that I didn't. It's like it doesn't really hold up that well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, also the other thing is like Narnia. They made it much longer than it actually is because the book is really not that big.
Uh,
So obviously they add more things. They double it. They do a lot of things there. So that's my only
uh,
thing.
that there's one there. Not.
Yeah, a few things. Will Ferrell's character is exactly the same as it was in the Lego Movie. Not exactly a coincidence, given what else the movie tries to do. I mean, yeah.
Mm, pretty much.
Um, it also has good old Gravik from Secret Invasion. That's true.
Yeah, there he's
I
Kingsley
liked him in this movie
Benar.
as well.
Yeah, I feel bad for a lot of the Kens. Just
Yeah. Uh, Ken like Ryan Gosling's Ken gives up his fur coat to Ben Kingsley's Ken. So I guess like and then he gets to make the call. So I guess like he's kind of giving up his whole kinship, which I guess that was
yeah.
something.
Mm.
And started responding to Op. No wonder the Kens took over Barbie World. The scrolls.
Uh, about if I say one thing about Narnia, it's like the female characters kind of just are just there. Aside from what's the young girl.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like the like the ice witch character is like is a clown.
yeah.
It's like, oh my god.
Tilda Swinton.
And like what's the character? Annie? It's like, no, not the older Susan, like the older sister.
Yeah,
She just exists literally. Her character is just like, I'm in the background yelling at people.
yeah. The book doesn't really do her favors either. For it's really the younger one that gets more characterization. Um, but yeah, that's it's basically Barbenheimer. Um, and yeah, so the format of what we're going to do is basically we're going to talk about two underrated movies each, two overrated movies each. The two best ones for one being the indie and one being the blockbuster kind of movies. Our
Yep.
most disappointing movies of the year, and the two worst ones with the indie and blockbuster. So
Yeah.
that's kind of the idea of what we're going for. And
Yeah.
with yeah,
We're gonna spill out as much movie as possible because we watch a lot.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So just keep in mind, not every movie is going to be here because that's ridiculous. But yeah, that leads us to Unity's underrated movie of the year.
yeah, A Good Person with Florence Pugh and Morgan Freeman, which is I'm so glad Morgan Freeman finally got a good movie after like so many years of bad ones. What's the last good movie he did? Like The Dark Knight something? Not The Dark Knight. The hold on a second. Maybe, I don't know. Just probably just but yeah, it's like 10 years ago. Jesus. Like he's such a good actor, but he just keep putting on like the shitty, not in just really small movies, but it's like that's kind of it. Yeah, the last good movie is the Lego movie. I mean, I guess I like him. I guess I like Ted too, even though that movie isn't that good. It's just fine. Yeah, so a good person is basically about the wife. Florence Pugh plays the wife of of the person of like you know, but of not the main character, but it's like the wife, and and Morgan Freeman is playing the grandfather, like the good, and they met together after Florence Pugh basically killed her cousin-in-law, killed her future brother and sister-in-law. That's basically much it. And yeah, so basically this movie is doing about pills. Try to move on from her addiction with like pills after she caused like her sister and brother-in-law to die. And Daniel is like he's a former ex-cop, and he's a grandfather of Florence Pugh's character who almost married you know who almost married Nathan. Yeah, just this is like the foundation of the movie, and they both try to help each other to move on, and it just it's kind of it's like dealing with Lost, doing like how they deal with loss and just how to deal with a loved one, not even a loved one, just like someone really close to them, or try to move on. It's like that's a non-spoiler part of the movie, and of course it's not just the generic type of hey I I do drugs, but even though I still nice to a few people, I still I still try to move. I still I was still dealing with it. No, like the character is actually quite brutal. He would like the Florence Pugh character is actually really manipulative, and she would actually do whatever it takes to just get what she wants. And and yeah, and that path leads her to a lot of downfalls, even though she did try her best to just do to be better.
Yeah,
Uh,
honestly, it's good to see Florence Pugh um, in a good movie.
yeah,
I believe this is also like an Amazon Prime movie, so that's where people can
yeah,
watch. Um,
and yeah, the movie is made by Zach Braff, Florence Pugh's ex-boyfriend.
at least it's an X, I guess.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I just don't want. It's hard to talk about this movie without talking about spoilers. It's just such a good movie, and at the end, you just there's a lot of things because like Morgan Freeman's character is more overwhelmed, but he also has anger issues, and he's trying to take care of his granddaughter. It's like not granddaughter. It's like
Isn't that
just
Celeste O'Connor?
it's
Um,
yeah, Celeste O'Connor.
It
But you
was
know,
gonna be in Madam Web.
yeah, that's yeah. She's not like generic nice girl. She's like she also has anger issues on her own. It's like yeah, I hope I didn't mix up her with anything. That's gonna be fucked.
Yeah.
So
Um.
okay.
So that was that that's your pitch, right?
Yeah, it's like two fucked up person who try to deal with death, try to help each other. Of course, the path doesn't really go that well. One is just drug addict, one is has a lot of anger issues. So,
Yeah.
but go watch it. Especially for Morgan Freeman finally got something good after 9
Years.
years, 9 years.
Yeah. So that was Unity's underrated number one. A good person. My underrated number one is The Old Way, starring Nicolas Cage and Ryan Kira Armstrong. So I let me preface this by saying like I think it's underrated in the sense like it's rated 32% on Rotten Tomatoes. I know like Rotten Tomatoes is bullshit, but like I just wanted to highlight that because like I think like I just don't think it's really fair. In my opinion, I think it's a fine movie. Like just in the sense of like it is pretty generic. I will give it that. Basically, this gunslinger he was really good, and then he after he gets married he retires. And then all of a sudden his wife is killed, and he's going on this road trip with his daughter so that they can kill the killer of his wife, and that's about it. It's simple. It's no subverting expectations. Everything that you expect to happen, it happens. And honestly, that's fine. I don't really. I think it's. I think I don't think I have an issue with like it not doing anything different, really. Because like if it's like still a well made movie, it's still
Yeah.
getting things done. I don't know. I still feel pretty good about that.
I mean, I seen that movie as well, so it's I think it's more about like there's not just like some good guy like just Nicolas Cage's character is hard tough and the girl is like she's nice innocent, but no, they're both fucked and they are both stone cold. That's the thing.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I I guess like to be fair, like my only thing is like if you compare this to Pig, for example, that's a much better movie with Nicolas Cage. Especially since that is a lot more subversive in terms of like like because people thought Pig was going to be him going John Wick, but that's really not how it goes at all. I don't know. Did you see Pig?
No, I didn't. I didn't see a lot of Nicolas Cage movies.
Yeah, I think Pig is definitely I think Pig is definitely what I'd recommend for Nicolas Cage, at least recent Nicolas Cage. I mean, he does a lot of great work in general. Even if it's terrible movies, I
Yeah,
think he does a good job. But yeah, I think the real show stealer is Ryan Kira Armstrong. She is just fantastic
yeah. You
in the
know.
movie and
By the
just
way,
in general.
by the way, remember? Do you remember her role in Black Widow? Literally, yeah. Basically, young Florence Pugh's character.
Oh
No,
yeah, yeah.
no, not shit. No, not that one. Even worse. Young Taskmaster's character.
Oh yeah.
That one.
Honestly, I think Ryan will be like probably like the next McKenna Grace, in my opinion. Like I think she's like that legit good as a child actress.
Yeah.
Um and I hope the best for her moving forward. Uh there's another one as well uh that I will talk about in a later movie
Mm,
who I think is really
yeah.
good.
Yeah. She's. I would talk about that one as well.
Yeah, but honestly, that's really it. The Old Way is like it's a generic western, but it's still like a fun movie overall. And I just I don't think it was deserving of its rating by the critics.
It's such
That's
a
really
weird.
it's really about it.
Yeah, it's like it's just like I just expected her character just like yeah, nice girl, but let her be tough. It's like no, it's the actual kind of actual opposite. It's like
Yeah,
this.
she was like stone cold, and then
Yes,
she
yeah, it's
finally
like
got a heart at the end.
that's it. That's
So it was
basically
that was the subversion. That's true. And yeah, that leads to Unity's second underrated movie.
True Spirit. Basically, this is like one of the first movies. I think if not the first movie I saw this year. Like it's like if you don't count Puss in Boots because UK it's basically Puss in Boots. But I'll just count this as the first movie I saw this year, which is like kind of impressive. It's on Netflix if you can watch it. It's called True Spirit. It's an actual real life event about a girl who sailed across the seas herself. Like this is like Jessica called Jessica Watson. Yeah, you can Google that. She's an Australian sailor. And she has to survive in the world in the sea for like 200 days, but she's only like what 18 years old, 16, sorry, 16 years old, which is like it's not even an adult. And this in this movie she's not the brightest. She is actually quite reckless, and she has to survive like being alone in that sea, like without anyone helping her. And she has to face all the challenges while without anyone's help. While actually there's a bit of radioing, but aside from that, it's just that's it. There's like just a love journeys ahead, and just talks about what if you do whatever it takes to, if you believe in and you feel like you're prepared well enough, you can succeed in what you're doing, and also don't give up. I was like, yeah, it's actually quite a good start for me, and then other movies happen,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Hmm. I mean, also
Um.
it's yeah,
Yeah.
the movie stars Raven from Titans.
Oh, Tegan Croft.
Yep.
That's cool.
Mm, yeah. To be honest, though, I think I'm glad that this is the only thing I saw from her because I ain't touching Titans forever.
Yeah, that's
My
not
lord.
not. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Also, Anna Paquin.
Yeah. Oh my god. I missed. That's good.
So yeah, that's Unity's second underrated pick, True Spirit. And my second underrated pick is Love at First Sight, starring Ben Hardy and Haley Lu Richardson. I was looking at Ben Hardy's face and I was like, where have I seen you before? And it's like, then I realized he was the Archangel in uh, X-Men Apocalypse. So that connected the dots. But anyway, Love at First Sight is based on a book called The Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight. Um, it's set in December 21st. So if any of you want to see a Christmas movie and with romance elements, I think this is a good movie to watch. Um, honestly, it's the movie is just basically about these two people, an American girl and this British man. They meet each other at the airport. They basically converse. They get to know each other. They get to know each other very well, and then eventually they fall in love with each other. And honestly, this I think this movie did get me pretty emotional, especially from uh, his Ben's side of the family with what his family's going through, and I think Unity knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen it as well. Also don't know that you've seen it. It's probably like the best romantic movie this year, even I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
it's love.
yeah. Honestly, like so, yeah. Uh, Haley's side of the family is like her parents have divorced, and her dad is a professor in London. He falls in love with someone else and they get married. So she's kind of dealing with like going to her dad's second wedding, post divorce, post her life like that, and then uh, Ben is going back to the UK for his mother, who is battling cancer, and but he doesn't tell that to Haley, which is fair. Um, but then obviously, like you see how like the two of them like kind of bond with just being the two people that met at the airport, plus these new external uh, factors with their parents. So yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. Again, I got emotional towards the end of the movie, especially like Jamila Jamil's who's also in this movie. Um,
She's
Titania from
she
uh, She-Hulk. She was like the narrator, and I think she did really well as well.
yeah. So, yeah.
Um, yeah. Again, it's set in December 21st, so it's almost Christmas time. So if you guys want to watch that, I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah, just it's got stuff for my expectation for a bit. It's like I just expected just like okay generic movie stuff, and instead of just like okay now they mentioned they just spent an hour talking on a plane. It was like oh that's actually quite interesting.
Yeah,
And then
that is a thing. The first hour is like, yeah, it's just those two. Um,
because I'm watching a lot of plays, which is like most of them just two people plays, just and then just like okay how do you get them get it interesting by just talking. And yeah, I think that's the movie. This movie did this movie does so well. It's insane.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that was my second pick of the underrated of the year, Love at First Sight, and that leads us into the
As first thing, let's just talk about this. By the
yeah. Go
way,
ahead.
Red didn't tell me to watch them. I just watched it myself. So and with vice versa, we just didn't recommend it. We just got lucky that I watched those two as well.
Yeah, yeah. That's all right. So that was our underrated section, and now let's get into the overrated section. This should be a little bit more exciting, I think. Uh, so yeah, so Unity's first.
My lord, I don't even know how to begin because first things first.
So I guess just to be clear for the audio listeners, yeah, this is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Okay, I never seen an Indiana Jones movie before I saw this movie. By the way, I did saw them eventually after this movie. But even without the knowledge of all those movies coming beforehand, I was like, what the fuck am I watching? It's like every single scene is so broken for plot and characters. Helena's character is such a it's a horrible person basically. She basically wants Indiana Jones to die because I actually don't know. She just want to because and and Indiana Jones after I mean I thought his portrayal in this movie is like quite shit, right? He doesn't really have character trait. He just like my son died. I'm sad, low. And then at the end it's like I want to die, bye. But after I saw all the Indiana Jones movie, I was
So Sty, I don't think it's overrated. Unity just wanted to talk about it. Um, but I'm just letting him say that.
to be honest, I still hear a lot of praise for this movie.
It does get praise.
Yeah, it's just like it's insane. It's like I don't know what to say. It's just like it's like I'm glad. It's such a weird movie because after I see all the Indiana Jones movie, Indiana Jones character assassinated. I was like, he's like, I don't believe in magic. I was like, what the fuck? Have you seen the other movies? You clearly do. And he was like, oh, I'm sad because my son died and he hates me and he pissed me and he just want to join the army because he pissed me off. I was like, that's not Shia LaBeouf's character in Crystal Skull, because he doesn't really go to college because he doesn't like the system, and he won't join the army, and Indiana Jones basically opened up to the person who tried to kill him the entire movie.
Yeah, I mean, my whole thing is like, it's such a weird franchise to really just put a fifth film on. I don't know. Harrison Ford is just like,
Old.
old, um, and we just gotta pump out another one, I guess, and that's just what they do.
And I think I don't even know what to say about the ending. It's like fuck it, let's just spoil it. Time travel. Fuck you.
Yeah, no. I think we can. I think we can spoil the overrated ones, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like it just be it's supposed to be a bootstrap paradox. No, it's like, well,
How do you
what?
do time travel in the Indiana Jones
I don't
franchise?
know. It's like, because
What was their explanation?
there's a time watch, and it lets you to point to the time rift on in the sky.
Hello, Neil.
Hi, hi, time rift in the sky. It doesn't open it; it just points to the sky. And I was like, what? There should be a lot of time rifts the entire time of Earth, like all the time.
So, this bootstrap paradox or Miss Marvel's bootstrap paradox?
To be honest, I think this is worse than Miss Marvel's bootstrap paradox, because it's like, I don't know. Do you know that Archimedes? I was like, fuck. What is? How do you pronounce it?
Archimedes?
Yeah, Archimedes. It's like he discovered that like in like what in his century, and then it's like, yeah, we gotta hide this forever, even though he discovered it and no one else discovered it for some reason. And you know, and by the way, they crashed the plane in the past, so the entire technology in the future should change. But bootstrap paradox, fuck you. This doesn't even make any sense. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
I mean, at least from a smartphone, it's like, yeah, it's just contradictive, really contradictive. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
so
but
so Neil says this is the worst movie for him. If I had to pick, it's tough, but I'd either say Ant-Man 3 or The Marvels. The former gave me a headache with how stupid it is. The latter was just pathetic. Yeah, we did talk about The Marvels in a
yeah,
previous episode.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
I thought about talking about Ant-Man Quantum Mania, but at least there's like, okay, I like Modoc's arc. I'm not kidding. He actually has an arc that works. Oh, but
yeah, but also Archimedes never made a dial. From what I've heard of history stuff, this would be like saying Albert Einstein invented the Death Star. Yeah.
Gee, I don't even know. It's like Archimedes made it so that people in the present can help them win the war, which doesn't even happen anyways.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, they destroy Marion in just one scene. I love my life.
So yeah, that was the first overrated pick from Unity, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. For
To be
me,
honest,
I'm going with Knock at the Cabin, the M. Night Shyamalan movie starring Dave Bautista, Jonathan Groff, Ben Aldridge, and Rupert Grint, Ron Weasley. So I I was just like, so this is based on a book, The Cabin at the End of the World, which I honestly like that title more than Knock at the Cabin, in my opinion. But that's neither here nor there. My main thing about this, so basically the movie's about like this family of three, two dads and their daughter, and they're at a cabin, and these four people show up at the cabin, and they said that they're basically saying that this is like, you guys have to make a decision that will stop the apocalypse of ending the world. Otherwise, if you guys don't sacrifice one of yourselves, then then the world will end basically. And it's just one of those kind of honestly like I think the premise of the movie is interesting. I think I'll give it that. I do think like the trailer really goes heavy handed in terms of like kind of spoiling everything about the movie. But my main thing, I guess I should probably get this comment before we keep going.
I didn't
Indy
see.
5, I didn't see, but it sounded awful as far as there's only 3 indie films. Yeah,
To be honest,
that's true.
yeah. I don't think I hate Crystal Skull. I just actually kind of enjoyed it. I don't think it's a bad movie. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I think it's still a satisfying end for Indiana Jones as a character. I mean, he got wedding. He's wedding, and do you know the ending? Basically, just like because Shia LaBeouf's character take a head and just like carry on Indiana Jones' mantle, and then Indy just snatch it away from him, and just like, "Lol, we're not gonna have a spin off of other characters, dipshit." And then, and then you know what happened.
Just doesn't return. Um, yeah, but yeah, as I was saying, like, Knock at the Cabin. So these four people. So one thing that the book does very well is like they never really they can never really confirm if what these guys are saying is real or not. Um, because like so basically, like for example, um, well, I guess like my first thing is like some translation issues is like you have Dave Batista walking up to Wen in the beginning of the movie, and he's trying to be the friendly guy, and he sounds like a friendly guy. He does. He really really does. Uh, but let's be honest. If you see Dave Batista talking to a 5
Like,
year old kid, I don't know if people will feel safe.
yeah, I was like,
Which is kind of weird because they have two women in the group too, who are also very nice. Uh,
basically,
yeah, so
I
it's
just
like yeah, so that's kind of like the main thing. It's like it's just like Dave Bautista's like I understand he's a very friendly guy like in general, but like optically it's just kind of weird. And then like
yeah,
when you compare him, like Leonard in the book is shorter. He's more skinnier. I mean he's big, but like he's not like Dave Bautista big. So it's like it's a little bit more believable in the book. But yeah,
even that I was like, no, you should still send the girls. I give it that. He's not the worst option. I'll give it that.
yeah, yeah. Of course, when you have Rupert Grint is a homophobe,
A psycho.
and he went to prison. So yeah. So honestly, like my main issues is like obviously you have like four people there. You're talking about the apocalypse, the four horsemen of apocalypse. So it's like that kind of very 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 not subtle kind of thing. And then obviously like with this whole thing with like as they sacrifice themselves as the three of them are not committing their own sacrifice. They basically there's like things that Dave is saying like if you guys don't make a choice, there's going to be uh there's going to be like a tsunami that will like wash over the city. There's going to be like a plague that will infect the lungs of millions. You'll have like the skies will be falling, stuff like that, and then the end of the world, basically. So that's your four things. So obviously, like they they don't do that, and then Rupert Grint, gets offed off, and then you see the giant tidal wave. So the thing about the book is like, um, you see these things that are being described, but like they're not like for Ben Aldridge character and Jonathan Groff's character, like uh there's still some possibility that this is all bullshit. Um and one thing that the book does very well, in my opinion, is like it's very subtle in terms of like, is this real or is this not? And there is some sound logic to some of the things that like Ben's character saying like they said there was like a massive tsunami like 4 hours ago before they even came to our house. So it's like, how is it possible? So to just say that there's another tsunami that's happening, and that's because like that's kind of like the reason why that happened. It's like I don't know if that's proof that the world is ending. And then the second time it happens, there's like this after like one of them kills themselves again, then you see the plague happens. But the thing is with the plague is like Ben also has the logic. It's like, we've heard about this virus like long ago, and we knew this was going to happen one day. So it's like, so it's still not really proof that like the world is going to end. Then after the third person dies, um, you start to see seven. So in the book, so this is where the book and the movie are very different. It's like you see seven planes fall from the sky, which that should be like the kind of the thing is like, okay, is this real or not? But in the movie, they do like hundreds of planes falling from the sky. So like I think that's kind of the problem. So like the movie goes very clear that this apocalypse is real. Whereas in the book, it's like it's very subtle. Like, is it real or is it just a coincidence? And that's kind of what they're relying on. And then the most major difference of the book is like how is who died basically in the book when they have the fight Leonard versus Ben Aldridge with the shotgun in the bathroom, and all of a sudden they accidentally hit Wen and kill her. Um, so that's the major difference. Now, I mean, now that I say that, Unity, what would you think if that happened?
To be honest, though, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know for the books. In the movie, though, I just think it's like quite dumb.
Yeah. So I think the thing is like in the book, like obviously, like you're talking about a 5-year-old getting hit in the head with
Yeah,
a shotgun bullet. So obviously, that's
yeah,
not probably not ideal to see on screen. Um,
yeah,
so like that's why in the movie the ending is like uh, Jonathan Groff's character gets killed instead.
yeah. It's
Um,
like
which honestly, like I think that affects the movie though, in my opinion, because like when dying in the book is like one is like but the thing is like it was an accident. So the characters in the book they're like arguing like isn't this not a sacrifice? Like our daughter just died. But it's like they're saying but it's not a sacrifice because she was accidentally killed. You still have to kill one of yourselves. And then so like obviously they're kind of going like so if God is like punishing us and like saying like we have to sacrifice one of us even though our daughter accidentally died by technicality, how is that a world to live in? So it's like so they decide so in the book the two fathers they decide it's not worth like if the world is going to end, let it end because it's not worth it because like our daughter just died on this technicality, and if it's real or not, we're going to deal with it together. So
yeah. It's like
that's how
such
the
a
book ends, and I really
yeah,
like that honestly.
yeah. Basically, because they lost all hope. It's like, oh fuck it, they just like we lost all hope already. So and then in this movie,
Yeah,
it's like, oh, you
the
guys are
movie gives you a
assholes.
clear ending. That yeah,
Not
the
that that's
apocalypse was real, and the apocalypse end.
Bro, that wasn't
As
even
well.
my biggest issue. It's like, yeah, fuck it. If it's real, that it's real. I was like, no, it's because it's real. So you guys look like assholes.
Yeah,
You were like,
that's the thing. You look like assholes.
it's like, no, you guys are wrong. Because there's hundreds of planes fall out of the sky. Just there's a lot of diseases. But you see, this is real. And it's like, I'm not gonna kill anyone. It's like, like, my lord, do you even need more evidence?
Yeah, and like that's like the main thing. It's like obviously in the book you only hear by description. So like they say they see 7 planes fall from the sky, but it's like seven. Like yeah, that's like that could be like true, but it's like it still could be a coincidence because like that's not a lot. But like in the movie, like hundreds of planes are falling from the sky. So it's like you really can't defeat that logic. I don't know. It's like it's kind of like one of those things where you up the scales because it's a movie, but I think you up it too far to the point where it's unrealistic. And now have to question why do these characters still have this conversation? Is this real or not? So that's really the thing.
Yeah.
I know it's like I know that's kind of annoying for some people. The book is better, but I think the book is better. That's all I can really say.
Yeah.
Um, so we got a few comments. Sty also before the Dial of Destiny even released, that subtitle in particular was ironically hilarious. Sounded like it was setting up for Indy to discover a giant gleaming telephone that communes with God.
To be honest, I skip all the trailers because I just like yeah fuck it. I don't have any interest.
Yeah, and Neil also said, I know Dave Bautista actually wants to move into more serious acting and move away from being seen as Drax, a goofy character, and I commend him for that. Little have I seen him do serious roles. Yeah, I will say that, yeah, Dave Bautista was fantastic in this movie.
Yeah, he's a really good actor. It's like
He's a
I'm just
really, really good actor. Like
yeah
post wrestling to acting, like he's definitely the best in my opinion.
yeah. It's
I think
not
John
it's
Cena is fine, but like I think
yeah.
Dave is much better.
Oh yeah, because he's not like The Rock, just like plays the same character. It's just like he's literally just like playing different characters and they actually act.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, like I mean, I've seen a lot of like Hugo Strange fan casts from this movie, and honestly, I can understand where that's coming from. I think he does a really good job.
I mean, I'm fine with seeing him in DC, to be honest. I just as long as he plays a different role.
Yeah, that's true.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that was my take on Knock at the Cabin. Got another one. Was M Night inspired by Cabin in the Woods by any chance? No.
Uh,
So this
no.
so as I was mentioning, it's based on a book called The Cabin at the End of the World. Um, but it's another cabin title, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I
So
remember. I think. Do you remember? I've seen Cabin in the Woods a long time ago. I just don't remember. I don't know. It's
yeah,
like I think it's
isn't that
good.
the Chris Hemsworth one?
Yeah, the Chris Hemsworth one, and like they wrote in like a 3 days or something.
Yeah,
It's actually quite. It's also like it's so funny because the movie also tackles about the end of the world, and it does like
right.
sacrifice this people. Is it enough for the end of the world? It's such a. It's like yeah, it's an interesting concept as well. I think that is executed better. Granted.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's your Buffy writers as well.
yeah, also Avengers. So
Avengers. Yeah.
hmm.
So that was my first overrated pick. Knock at the Cabin, and here is Unity's second pick.
Yay! By the way, I heard a lot of buzz about this movie. About hey, and everyone pretty just like, oh, this is fun. This is for Halloween and stuff.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
this movie is totally killer.
yep, totally killer. I didn't see it during Halloween. Don't worry. I seen it like not last. I think 2 weeks ago. I think last week or 2 weeks ago. To be honest, I just gotta look at it just to. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So I, yeah, last week. Sorry, last Tuesday. I was like, and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? It's a movie about a girl see the Sweet 16 killer again, which is like several, like 20 years ago or something. 20 years to 16 years ago, just like years ago, and who killed her mother's friends. Now the Sweet 16 killer killed her mom. Spoilers though, but who cares? Killed,
Yeah.
yeah. And how do I describe it? So, what do you think of the modern Scream movies?
Um, they exist.
But
I You're only there for the women.
yep.
That's really it.
But
If we're being honest.
imagine with time travel.
Why is time travel everywhere?
It's not even good time travel. It was like, how did they introduce that concept? Oh, by the way, I have a friend. Oh, by the way, I have a friend who invented time travel because my mom has notes about time travel. So I made it for my science project. Not even science project, sorry. For my fun fair.
Hmm.
Yay! And also, it's just they make sure to just shit on Back to the Future twice. You know, Back to the Future is full of shit. I was like, Back to the Future time travel makes more sense than this shit. Actually, it makes total sense in the first movie, at least. Uh, I never liked time travel. I never liked time travel. Time travel movies never make any sense. You know, Randall Park's line, which is actually just they just make fun of a lot of tropes, like lol, we don't have DNA testing. I mean, yeah, but but you can still ask for people, ask for ask for situations, like do actual detective work. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I only think Scream 1 is the good one. That's about it.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't see Scream one. I do not want to watch more. Totally not because I want to. Yeah, that's it. And how do I describe it? It's like, I don't know, the ending is so whack. It's like the ending is like, oh, this killer has never been set up. By the way, it's like, oh, he's there. He's actually played like this. He's actually this person. It was like, oh, you just drop all the review at the end. And then I don't know how to describe it. It's like the main character start off as cons, which they go back to try to be a mother figure to her younger mother, which is like fine in concept, but this is so immediate.
We're talking about Totally Killer, but they do reference Scream in this movie.
Yeah, they do. It's like load. We have. I mean, there may be two killers. I mean, it turned out to be true, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like, but and I don't know what to say. It's like the second killer is basically a guy who goes back to the past to kill Kiernan Shipka's character because he wants more feels. Um. By the way, because this movie said changing the past changes the future, this fucker is still alive somehow. It's like he's still doing all the podcasts, even though he basically Kiernan Shipka basically stopped the killer, and revealed his identity.
No. This is
No, no,
Karen
no.
and
And
Shipka,
fuck.
but
Yeah.
uh,
It's like,
she's good too.
yeah. I know. There's a lot of mocking 80s trope. It's like there's like one scene that Kiernan Shipka just goes in a class. It's like, I'm an exchange student from this country in this island. It's like, oh yeah, go to class. Like he was like, do you need clarifications? Like, no. Oh, I was like, no, that's not. It's like it's just this movie just shitting on so many things, and even though it's even worse that it's just like this movie is just worse. It's just so bad and just trying to shit on so many things. Oh, by the way, yeah. Oh, look at that one, Edge of 70. Look at that comment about Edge of Tomorrow.
I want to get the one before that. Seriously, I want to talk to screenwriters. If you want to introduce time travel, think twice because it can easily break your story. Do a time loop instead. That it's relatively easier to
That's,
handle.
I mean, it's like they didn't break it before they used it. They literally changed the entire technology of the world by just saying that her mom basically invented time travel. Like,
Yeah,
oh my.
and then the second comment: Edge of Tomorrow, Groundhog's Day, ReZero anime are great examples of it being well done.
Yeah, there's some really good time travel movies. Just I mean, I'm still a big fan of Doctor Who. Just there's just a lot of time travel crap.
Yeah, it's oversaturating the market.
This one is just I don't know. It's like they also said like because you are in the past, so you won't disappear even though the future changes. Like oh fuck it, let's go with it. Yeah, and I was like I don't even know what to say about. I don't even know. You could have just yeah, it's just like yeah, the future should have changed. To be fair, the future did change at the end. Just I don't know why isn't it immediate. The time doesn't really go at a straight line. When you go back, you just immediately changes it. Even though if you spend like a billion years there, not a billion, 10 years there. And yeah, of course his mom's time travel notes are just so easy to access to a 16-year-old. She also built it, by the way. She's everyone's smarter than Batman nowadays. Even kids.
Yeah, yeah. You also got Olivia Holt in this movie. You got
Yeah,
Julie Bowen.
and and then also the other girl, Liana Liberato. Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
she's also in Scream Style.
yeah,
The redhead.
yeah, yep. She is also same as Screams. Like every character has like you can that get stabbed and just like still fine. Literally, the main killer is like a tank, even though like he got like smashed in the head for several thousand times. He is like he still like get back up as a Terminator. And the explanation, oh, he's a nerd, but he knows Taekwondo. Oh, that's like yeah, that's not an explanation. And also one character got stabbed in the neck, and he's like fine afterwards. After the knife is also pulled out from him. This is such a fantastic movie. Just like
Yeah.
uh, yeah,
So that was Unity's second overrated film, Totally Killer.
yeah,
And I think this next one will be more of a spicier take. Overrated film of the year from me, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
yeah.
Now, even more of a spicy take, I do think Across the Spider-Verse could fit in this category as well. The only reason I picked Guardians 3 over that is because uh, uh, you know,
That
Across
movie's
the
just
Spider-Verse has the benefit of it. The sequel could fix the problems.
it's a
That's
lot.
mainly it. But
Yeah, yeah. It's like
we got to stick
across
to
the side across the
something that
spider.
has an ending like Guardians 3. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
across the spider first is just so fake when it comes to answers. Like, is he right or not? Oh, I don't know. Come back to the next movie to see the answer. It's like, oh fuck. No answers are being answered.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
you know, Guardians 3 is basically your ending to the Guardians franchise in a way. It's this one focuses more on Rocket and his origin, and you also got things. You got some things here and there with him dealing with his past, with High Evolutionary, and that connection with him. You also have this new Gamora from post Endgame, since this is a new one, and you got Peter Quill kind of dealing with that relationship with her. You also have, well, I guess Drax is like was thinking about retirement. I guess. Um, Honestly, a lot of things happen in this movie.
And
I think the biggest factor that I would say that was a conversation is High Evolutionary. Um,
yeah, we talked about that.
I
And
think you can help with this one since
I don't even know where to begin because even the first, not the first feed, not the first thing. The first thing is actually quite good for the Guardian for High Evolution. Just grabbing rocket, rocket alone. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
Guardians 3 could have been so much better. It has good elements like Rocket the High Evolutionary, but it got so many plot holes and inconsistencies. Also, Adam Warlock is
oh,
bad.
High Evolutionary.
So
He's
I think our High Evolutionary points aren't the same. But
yeah,
honestly, I will say like I think I liked High Evolutionaries
as a con.
in the past,
Yeah,
like his interactions with young Rocket and that stuff. I think those were the better. But I think
yeah,
present day High Evolutionary has a lot of problems.
yeah. Easily, it's how do I say it? It's like he's a moron. It's like he in the first scene with Adam Warlock, he was like, "Oh, I made this species, and they made Adam Warlock." I was like, "Why the fuck don't you have an army of Adam Warlocks already?" Those
Uh,
are so much. Yeah,
I think my main thing is like High Evolutionary made. Oh yeah, that was my big thing. High Evolutionary made the Gold People, and then the Gold People made Adam Warlock, which I think making that High Evolutionary was in charge of all of that is just ridiculous.
Yeah,
Because then it's like the question is like, why don't you make a bunch of uh, Adam Warlocks over making the half breed, half animal,
yeah,
anthropomorphic planet? Like, what's the point of that?
yeah,
I don't
and
know.
also
It's like one of those things, like, because like obviously the comics are different mediums, of course, but like obviously you have different people in charge of these different factions. But then when you give all these powers to all these accomplishments to one person, now I got to question that one person, his accomplishments of what he was able to do in the MCU compared to the comics. So it's like, yeah, so you have this guy who apparently makes this half breed planet, but then he's also the same guy that made the race of people that can make Adam Warlock. So it's like, I don't know why you chose the animal planets in the first place, and why you don't choose to make more Adam Warlocks. That doesn't make any sense.
uh,
That's one thing. That's a major thing I think is an issue.
uh, to be honest, if someone tried to argue, because Adam Warlock still kept mind, it's like you do realize you don't even need to give him a mind, right? You just have to make him a soldier, a much better soldier than those animal cyborgs.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, he does call Elizabeth Debicki his mother, so that's something.
yeah. So there's a lot from. That's just one. That's just the first one we and like his second scene.
Yeah, and like the whole thing with like a half world with like, you know when things weren't going his way, they destroy the planet. Why?
Why? It's like, why don't we reverse engineer it? Literally, if you're a scientist who wants perfection, why don't we just reverse engineer it? Just like find the problems, and because and why did they blow it up? Because Star Lord is like, your planet has people taking drugs. Well, yeah, you copy Earth, dipshit. What do you expect, high evolutionary? And they're like, oh fuck, you're right, I'm gonna blow it up. Oh, so you know that as well, and you only did it now.
Yeah. Then obviously, like, you got things like with Mantis, for example. Like, there's a lot of new things, especially when you go from the holiday special, or if you go from any previous film with Mantis to the holiday special and Guardians 3. She's just basically a different character altogether, in terms of like her combat ability, her ability to converse as an individual. So like, I don't know, like, I feel like Mantis has went on like a drastic character change, which people like her. So it's like, I'm not gonna take that away from you. I feel like if you watch Mantis's arc from start to where we are now, I feel like there's a lot of gaps of in terms of like where she's been. I mean, you got the whole thing like Peter and Mantis are actually step siblings. So, and that was revealed in the holiday special.
Yeah, that's to be honest, I'd rather watch the holiday special again than this movie. Just the more this movie is like, the more I think about it, the less I like it.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, Obviously got some other side arcs like Sean Gunn doesn't like Kraglin doesn't like Cosmo the dog, and Cosmo becomes a good dog at the end. I think that's probably my favorite arc
yeah, probably.
of the movie, so that's
Yeah,
something I'll give it.
yeah. And just
I really don't remember Nebula too well. I mean, Nebula has a connection with Rocket mostly.
I mean, I think she's fine.
I think she's fine as well.
Yeah, she's fine.
Drax
Drax
is just kind of
stupid. Yeah, I don't know. It's
as
like,
usual.
also, by the way, he saved High Evolutionary at the end. So fuck.
Yeah, he saves High Evolutionary at the end, so I guess he can return. Which,
But
I mean,
also,
I know people are happy about that. I mean, I can be happy about that. I'm just not right now. So
yeah, and it destroys
you gotta.
Drax. Yeah, the two as it does, and he just and I don't know, people like High Evolutionary, right? And all I can see
Well,
is like,
I don't know if it destroys Drax per se, but like I feel like it's Rocket's call though. So it's like I don't know why Drax would go against Rocket's call is mainly the
Yeah.
because Rocket wanted him to die, basically.
Yeah, it's like I was think someone mistook this line just like I don't kill because I'm a guardian. It's like no, I'm a guardian, so I let you live for a bit, and then until I save you, I just gotta blow you up
Yeah, yeah.
on your ship. It's because that's exactly what he means.
And then there's like other things like
Uh,
Groot is and one of the biggest problems is like Groot going into the metal detector and it doesn't detect the
gun.
guns that are in his body. So I don't know how that works per se.
Yeah,
Yeah, if high evolutionary or whatever blows up every planet, if one thing is even slightly out of place, it begs the question how he even rose to power and stayed in power.
yeah, yeah. It's just so
And
arbitrary.
yeah, Drax was wasted, never got his revenge against Thanos. Thanks, Endgame. Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Neither does the Hulk, which another bitch, but yeah, I guess. Uh, yeah,
yeah. Also, but I mean, a lot aside from Rocket or maybe or maybe just Nebula, just every character's arc are just rushed.
yeah,
Like,
and this is what I was gonna get into. Like Peter doesn't have his mask or boots that would have been very useful, and he hated them. He's got them damaged during battle.
yeah, that's what I said.
That's literally all you can do. But the tweet he puts out is he just
Uh,
forgot because he was in a rush, man. It's like okay, um,
wow.
he's been doing this for years. I don't know if he's that scatterbrained that he wouldn't think about his. And then it's like obviously like when he goes into space and like his face is like starting to explode. But then Adam
and
Warlock saves him.
because
Again, he would have had his face mask.
oh my god, those face matches like they literally just like they are like the most insane shit ever. It's like they can literally heal everything. Uh, it's like it's like where
Yeah.
that came from. And also like everyone's arc just like oh gotta talk about it in one scene just like maybe I gotta slowly ignore that and just like let's just bring it up at the end. That's how character arcs work, I guess.
I think Rocket is fine though, right?
Yeah, Rocket's fine. Nebula, it's fine. I think. Yeah, I think Nebula has a bit.
Rocket
I think.
obviously like you have his story with like his previous animal friends.
Yeah, that
Lila
works.
the otter.
Yeah, Nebula is fine. Not great. It's like it's just her arc is like just fine, and the others are just rushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cosmo becomes the good boy, so that's
Uh,
something.
yep.
Good girl, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
I mean, I guess I like
and then
Kraken's arc.
I like the line, you know, with Gamora and Peter Quill. Now, I mean, I will say like I guess like, it did get a bit annoying like how often Peter would repeatedly say like how much they were used to be in love and all that stuff. So like I don't mind him like saying it multiple times because like
Mm,
it is something he can't just like forget. But I also respect it in the sense like they don't just force them back together at
yeah.
the end because really Gamora is a different character because she was pulled from a different point in time. Now that also begs the question: would Gamora join the Ravagers to begin with? Um, this
I got.
Gamora in
Uh,
particular.
I got no idea. She's not with them at the end of Endgame. It's like I don't know. I thought she just stayed on Earth or something. She it's actually quite confusing. How she even got to space in the first place? If the
Yeah,
Guardian just fuck off without her. Uh,
yeah. I mean, yeah,
it's also weird because it's just I don't know what to say. It's like also like James Gunn just planned for like Peter Quill will return. Just we just don't know what they will do with him.
yeah. Then you also got like Phyla Vell as a 12-year-old.
Yeah, I'm not gonna see that. I'm not gonna see her as that character again. Also, that begs the question of wait, if high evolutionary can big a kid has like superpowers, like holy shit, why don't you just give your entire army that?
Yeah, that's the other problem. High Evolutionary has a girl who has the powers of Captain Marvel.
and she can and apparently at the end she can hold off an entire army with like a few more members of the Guardians. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was a weird addition. I know it was, but Gunn says he doesn't do cameos, so
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. All I can really say is, Gunn
yeah,
just do better for Superman Legacy.
yeah.
That's all I can
Just
really ask.
I hope you actually keep your word for it.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my last overrated pick of the year. Um, that leads us to our best films of the year.
Yay!
And for Unity, we got Wildflower.
Wildflower, which is like yeah, another Kieran Shipka movie, which is actually great. It also stars Brian Kiara Armstrong from the old ways as young Kieran. So
Wow.
yep, yeah, like
Yeah.
I told you, yep. And
One one second, one second.
mm,
I'm confused why Peter left the Guardians. I get he wants to go back to Earth, but why not take an extended leave of absence? So I guess to be fair, like they don't. There could be something that could bring him back.
uh,
That part is like not really. I mean, yeah, I do understand, like going back to Earth and living there and all this stuff. It could be viewed as a extended absence, and then like another product could show him coming back for a different reason, or like for the reasons that you're bringing up. That's the only good faith I can give in terms of that. But yeah, it's kind of tough to say. I mean, I do think the Guardians splitting up in general was like I don't
uh,
hate it, but it's like I feel like some of
uh,
it. I feel like some of the arcs are just kind of weird. Like Drax is like he just becomes the dad for the kid characters, so it's like I it's cool. I just didn't know that's what he wanted.
uh,
Um,
to be honest, this is also never set up.
yeah,
And Peter never gave a shit about Earth. If you remember Endgame.
yeah, and like I don't mind him coming to a conclusion where that could happen. I just don't think. I think there's like a lot of pieces missing there, in terms of getting that to a natural ending. Because otherwise, like I think Peters is obviously the most abrupt one. So yeah, uh, go ahead.
So Wildflowers. So it's basically a movie about two girl like called Bambi. They call him Bay because her parents are from her own words retarded because they literally because they both have literal brain damage and they have the IQ of like what a 10-year-old. Basically, they're intellectually disabled. And she has to take care of them, but she's not like the very noble type. She also has the has the self ego type. It's like I still feel myself higher than both of them. I just have to deal with them myself. And the entire movie is just her just like learning. Yeah, your parents, even though you care about her, you still she still has to let go of them. Just doesn't have to take the role of looking after them because she gave her a lot. She's actually quite independent. But she just have to take care of them. And this movie start off of her like in a coma, just like backtracking what happened, like past, present, and future. It just it just reminds me a lot about like parenthood and just like how does one person's like arc, like how does one person's like identity like strip away or just like can only stay in one state affect the other person and how they could have like deal with that. It's a lot to think about. And and yeah, it's us. Of course I do not want to spoil this movie. It's like I recommend you guys just like watch it yeah, entirely.
This is your best movie of the year, right?
Yep.
So like so far, yeah.
Yeah. So far, yeah, it's like a lot of things. Just like it's hard to just talk about it Even
Yeah,
though because you can't spoil it, and you want people to recommend and watch it. And
right.
Wildflower is based on a true story, not like an important story. It's just a story of a friend, of like a friend of a director. That's it. Or the writers. Yeah, basically it's yeah that and just like he made a story about them.
Yeah.
Mm. And yeah, it's so yeah, go watch it. There's a lot of elements about doing a high school, family, and just like parenthood, and like how to like independence and going to university. It's like simple, but it just hits home for everything they did. Also romance. Also Ryan Kiara Armstrong is really good as well. So she'll be in Skeleton Crew, the new Star Wars show. That's I don't know.
A movie I really liked was The Sea Beast. It came out last year, but I highly recommend it. It has some neat characters and a pretty solid plot.
I need to Google that. Hold on a second. See this.
I'll add it to the list, as
Oh,
Steve Rogers would say.
oh, it's an animated movie. Oh, Carl Urban is the main character. Yeah, it's like so. Yeah, there's a lot of good movies just hidden underneath that more marketed stuff. Uh, yeah. Also, yeah.
Also, the same director as a former Disney director, and this was his first directing and writing debut, so that was
Hmm,
nice.
nice.
Nice. Yeah,
Yes.
so that was Unity's best indie film of the year, Wildflower, and
Yep.
that leads to mine, which is Are You There, Margaret? Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
Yeah. Also
Um,
seen. Yeah. Also seen this movie as well. This is my second favorite this year. So back to back.
yeah. So it stars Abby Fortson as Margaret, and you got you also got Rachel McAdams as her mother. You have Benny Safdie as her uh, father, um, who he was also in Oppenheimer, by the way.
Yeah, and
And then
the main.
Kathy Bates is her grandmother.
Uh,
Um, so yeah,
uh,
this film is about like kind of like a girl like dealing with the. So it's based on a book as well. So I think a similar title. And it's basically about like how she is dealing with what is it like she's dealing with the conflict of having parents of two very different faiths. Her mother is Christian, her father is Jewish, and that's kind of like what she's dealing with. Plus, like the troubles of being a
yeah.
tween in middle school. So that's kind of like that's basically the general idea. I mean, obviously, like
No.
she sees like a lot of perspectives from her friends, her grandmother, um, and then like uh, her
Oh,
mother.
by the way. Oh, by the
Yep.
way. If anyone just like found Abby Fortson like similar, she's Cassie in the first two Ant-Man movies
Yeah.
before they recast, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Honestly, yeah. She that was like so. What I was alluding to, like Kira Armstrong as like the next Bikini Grass. My second, who is a little older, Abby Fortson is also up there as well. She's really good. Um, honestly, like this is like the movie where like the reason why I put it as underrated or like as the best. Well, I find it underrated as well because like it came out in April. This was during the strike, I think, and then like just not getting that promotion as well.
Uh,
So it doesn't do well in the box office, and that's really unfortunate. Because like I honestly like it's like this is like the kind of film is like I can really see a best supporting actress nomination for Rachel McAdams again. And Rachel McAdams is like it's just insane like how good she is. Like honestly like I think like we should have probably known that like when you have Mean Girls and The Notebook in the same year and they're both iconic characters and they're both completely different. Regina George and um I should know this.
You mean Doctor Strange?
The Notebook with Ryan Gosling.
Oh my, yeah, I never seen that movie.
Yeah, they both came out in the same year, so it's like, and Allie Hamilton, and like they're both like super iconic for, and they're both super different characters. I don't know, like she's just phenomenal. Um, and honestly, like I know it's not, I know we keep referencing the MCU. It's just a complete waste in
Yeah,
as Christine.
it's not. It's
Um,
like yeah,
yeah, but honestly, like she's like one of those people. Like I could expect a best supporting actress nomination, but like I don't think she will because like the movie just didn't do well in the box office, and also like it was in April, so
yeah.
her chances are very low, unfortunately.
It's not really an Oscar baiting movie. It's just it's just it's like it's portrayed as like what like a teenage movie.
Yeah, honestly, that's kind of what's refreshing about it because like it feels like one of your classic kinds of like high school stories or like teenager stories that like it felt like genuine and like you actually get the kids that are in the age range actually, um,
Yeah.
which is nowadays you don't really get that anymore
Mm.
here and there. So that's kind of like so it's kind of refreshing in that sense. Um,
Mm.
and yeah, like honestly, like uh, you know, Abby kind of like is like you know she has like a lot of talent around her and she's able to like keep up with them. Like just shows how much of a talent she is. Um, and like obviously like it is something that like I because like I am more of a religious person myself, so it's like I do always think about like if I do get married or if I do have kids or something like that, like would it be simpler to have just like be the same faith so that that they so that the kid doesn't have to worry about which is better, which is worse. Which for me, it's like I mean I'm of a person who believes in all faiths, so
Yeah.
I believe all religions are the same. I believe all religions give a good presence of what you need to do as a good person in society.
Mm.
And I'm a firm believer that I don't have a problem with like getting married to someone with another religion. It's just kind of like more like the social standards of what is expected of you if you were to have a kid, for example, and like what would they believe? Because obviously it's their choice, but like you still got your parents who have their own religious beliefs. You have their parents who have your wife or your husband's religious point of view, and like how do they do that? So it's like obviously like it's like one of those things that you think about. Like I wouldn't want to have that kind of problem. Obviously, I don't want to have problems like that, but it is something that happens, and I I respect its honesty for like kind of tackling it in a way that it's not preachy in terms of like Abby's choice as of what you're going with.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest, I don't really have much to say as you. Even though I really like this movie, just it's kind of by the formula.
Yeah, so that was my best indie movie of the year. Are you there? God, it's me and Margaret.
Yeah. So
Um
yeah, yeah, just indie movies. Oh, by the way, if you have if you want one more movie to watch, Wildflower, Alexandra Daddario is in the movie.
oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like it's just not just like the kid. There's a lot of family tackle how to deal with this as well. So Alexandra Daddario is one of them. So maybe she'll show you and you won't know what she show her her stuff in front of you.
Yeah. So yeah, that leads us to our best blockbusters of the year and Unity's pick.
Tetris. Yeah, I mean to be honest, not a lot. I don't. I count it as a blockbuster because there's a lot of marketing around this, and it's quite popular as a movie.
Yeah.
So uh, so it's actually about it's not really about teachers. It's about the guy who is who's trying to get teachers from Russia to America to internationally.
I think I have to as the guy Tetris. Um, yeah,
Yep.
go ahead.
And so Hank Rogers, a real life person, is is played by Taron Egerton. The guy who makes Tetris worldwide, and he has to like go through hell to just you know to just get this game to the market because he wants to be successful. He wants to earn money and stuff. But yes, it's Russia and like what 1988, so they're not really that open. And they actually consult the real life person themselves, like Hank and what's it called, and Alexei, the person who made Tetris in Russia. They try to get the rights and sell it to Nintendo. And yeah, it's like he's just trying to battle a lot of stuff, just going to Russia, just trying to make it right, while also like juggling his family. And I mean, the person, the real life person said there's like the cartridges are made up, but the interview, like they're real. I mean, they're more dramatized, but they're real. I mean, there's like only have like a few things wrong with it. It's like, but most of it is like quite well done for a characterization and how he would like get his game online, and he still cares about other people, even though he has this self interest. And also love Russian politics. Let's just put it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, blockbuster.
It stars Taron Egerton as Hank Rogers
And yeah,
from
that's
Apple TV.
yeah. I mean, go watch it. A lot of people seen it. So just, but
Yeah. So Neil, we mentioned at the intro that Godzilla -1. We just haven't got to watch it yet, but we had another person, Operation Bagel. He does agree with you. It is high up, like highly up there.
yeah,
But yeah,
pretty much.
we're planning on watching that one day.
Yeah, one day. Yeah, just when I'm not busy, just yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So Unity's best blockbuster of the year was Tetris,
Tetris. Yeah, Tetris.
and
Have you
yeah,
seen it? Have you seen it actually? I don't know.
I haven't had the
Oh,
chance yet,
damn,
but I
damn
heard
it.
good things about it.
Yeah, so basically, I've seen everything you saw, and you didn't see everything I saw.
Yeah, and that leads to my pick for best blockbuster is Air.
Case in point, I've seen it as
Uh,
well.
yeah. So Air is basically a story about the creation of Air Jordan, the basketball shoe, and you know, so I am a basketball fan, like a massive basketball fan, which uh, obviously Unity and I aren't on that high level in that aspect. So
Well, we're not gonna not team stuff. It's just I'm just not really a sports expert. Like, and it's like,
yeah, yeah. So yeah, this film was directed by Ben Affleck. It's basically about the Nike company. It's trying to basically they're trying to uh, you know
get Michael Jordan.
well they're really shit in terms of like because it wasn't the
Mm.
economic conglomerate that it is today. So they're trying to figure out a way of what to do in order to, get past like Adidas or Converse or stuff like that. So, so one of the ideas played by Matt Damon's Sonny Vaccaro, he basically suggests, why don't we just, instead of trying to get four bums, why don't we just put all of our money into Michael Jordan? Uh, and obviously, like the whole thing with like Michael Jordan is like, he was like
Yeah,
very notorious, like he really wanted to go to Adidas. That was his favorite brand, and that was like what he highly respected. So Sonny is like taking a huge gamble on this is one of the biggest gambles of his life, his career, everybody else's career. That like you know Either we get Michael Jordan onto as like a part of Air Jordan, or Nike dies as a company. Um, obviously it takes like a bit of convincing for the other characters. You got Chris Rock from the Rush Hour movies. You got Jason Bateman, then you also got Ben Affleck, and they're basically having that. Uh, they're basically just trying to figure out a an ideal way to try to get Michael Jordan. Which, to be honest, like obviously, like there was like a lot of jumps off the book stuff. Like Sonny literally goes to um, North Carolina and actually meets his parents, with his mother played by Viola Davis, um, which was against the rules. But he does make a very good case that, like, a lot of these companies will just kind of like generalize your son. Like, he's a really good character, but he's a really good act. God, I'm so used to talking about film now. Trying to go back to basketball. So he's going to be one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He's going to be compared to Larry Bird or Magic Johnson. But it's like Nike wants to say, why don't we? I don't want to promote basketball. I want to promote the person, Michael Jordan, which I think he'll be better than. Which I believe he'll be better than the the sport itself. So it's like, so he's making a very good case. They eventually do have this like discussion. I mean, so my only thing about like, and then obviously like, as history says, we do get Air Jordan, we get that stuff. So that's kind of clear. My only comment is like there are like some moments like where
Yeah.
like obviously you're not gonna really get that, but like there are some references here like where they reference Michael Jordan's career. It's like I don't know. It's like some of it is like very on the nose. On he's gonna win most valuable player multiple times. He's gonna get the win multiple championships. He's gonna get defensive player of the year. And it's like these are things that he does win in his career, but it's like I don't know if I really buy that that when Sonny and Michael Jordan's mom had the phone call conversation that this exact conversation happened. It's clearly just meant to be like Easter eggs to reference Michael Jordan's career as an NBA basketball player. So
Yeah.
it's like stuff like that. Like I feel like there are some Easter eggs in the movie that like I feel like some of it is like very on the nose on like, okay, these are things that actually happened in his career, which I'm not going to say that it wasn't a prediction, but
Um,
yeah, I actually,
uh,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. So there's just that's like my only thing is like obviously like I obviously you can't really comment on that.
yeah. To be honest, for me, I just don't know who Michael Jordan is. I know he's a basketball. I know he's a famous basketball player, and that's kind of the full stop.
Yeah. So that's really my only thing about it. Like there are just some Easter eggs in the movie that like I feel like they're neat Easter eggs. I get that, but it's like I feel like it's like
And
would people is this really how the conversation went back in 1984? I
I
don't
don't
know.
know because
So
Michael
like
Jordan actually consult the movie, like the teachers people, like the person make teachers and make teachers go online. They actually consult them. That's a thing.
yeah. With I know with Jordan, I'm like they didn't have Jordan be a character in the movie, because they wanted to focus more on, you know, obviously like if you put Michael Jordan, like the chances are you're probably gonna focus more on Michael Jordan, but it's not really about him. It's about Nike and the company and like how that bloomed because of Michael Jordan. So I understand
Yeah,
their decision into not making Michael Jordan the main character or like that kind of thing because it's not really about him. But yeah, that's basically my pick for.
yeah. Yeah, the best movies this year are all biopics. I love my.
Yeah,
I,
that's honestly is funny. Our best films of the year are biopics.
I also call Oppenheimer one of the best blockbuster this
Oppenheimer
year.
is also up there, which is a biopic as well. That is
Yeah,
pretty funny. And yeah, that was our best films of the year. Now, why don't we before we get to our worst, I think we should probably talk about what was our most disappointing of the year. This one will only have one, so that it can run
Yeah,
faster.
actually, well, I'm so cynical. There's not a lot of things I even have expectation anymore. Aside
Yeah.
from this one, I don't
So
even know
yeah.
what.
So
Like,
Unity's most disappointing of the film of the year is the Teen Wolf movie, and why
I
is that?
was well. I'm a fan of Teen Wolf. I didn't watch it when it came alive, but I binged the entire series like a few years ago, and I actually fall in love with every single character and the world building. I know that it's not good. Like some seasons are actually not, and there's like plenty of issues, but I still adore it. I just enjoy like the lore and just how it maintains it, like and how the group has so many interesting and and just the diverse type of creatures and just so much. And then O'Brien's like the only human on the team, and it pairs with like a a kitsuna. The main leader is a wolf, and there's a few wolves in it, and there's a banshee, and it's just such an interesting it's just an interesting show that it's like filled with potential with like different kinds of creature and non-creatures just going against supernatural. And I was actually I was actually like I actually like the ending, even though it's like I just keep wanting more because it's actually an open ending. It's like, oh my god, I just want like like the what's it called, the kitsuna to be back, like and Dylan O'Brien, like he's not big now. Like this is before he gone big with like Maze Runner, and just like, and this is actually his first role, and like there's a lot of things I love, and seeing that they will be back, it's like what fills me with excitement. Of course, um, uh, so Arden Cho didn't come, who plays Kira. She actually got an ending at the end. It's like actually not an ending, just like I got to train stuff, and she's never back. And that's like one season ago. And that's 1 season ago. And Dylan O'Brien was like, yeah, I'm not gonna come back. It's like, fuck. To be fair, was like I was still maintaining hope because they actually teased the movie for 2 years already. And it's like a movie like this is filled with potential. I mean, it's just they just have to get the group back to fight a full once again. That's all you need to do. It's like, go back. Like, how are they and stuff. But but apparently they didn't have a script while they're filming. Um, uh,
Yeah.
so they just
Uh.
bring back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does it remind you of?
Which one?
No script. You get a
Oh,
movie back with no scripts. Um,
isn't Iron Man technically that?
yeah. Well, yeah, but but at least they have a concept. At least this movie doesn't even have a concept. They're just like we get everyone back and just like figure out what to do. They they
Yeah.
bring back the villain in season 3, and they basically ruined him. And almost every character is like, I don't know. It's like I enjoyed it because I enjoy the novelty of seeing every character, but it's like everyone's just made an idiot and they just stay their lives. And I don't know. It's like you know, uh, like Dylan O'Brien and Lydia O'Brien's character and Holland Roden's character are basically love interest at the end of the season. It's like because Dylan O'Brien is so busy with Maze Runner, he basically didn't appear for half of it. But I just like I was so glad to see some. I was so hyped to see them return for an interesting couple, but they basically broke up off screen because of some shitty dreams or something. So they it's like wow. And the entire arc relies on Arden Cho's character to return, who the Kitsuna, and she's basically just fuck off, and they replace her with a 17-year-old. They didn't even try to explain her. She's just there. They're just like, oh, I'm here the entire time. We know each other. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's to be honest, I don't even know what the fuck do I ever expect more. It's like the more I hear, it's like the more just like what the why? Why do you even do any of that? And they do you remember like spoilers? Crystal Reed character died in Teen Wolf. I won't tell where when, but she died there, and they bring her back in this movie. Why? I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't why. Because Crystal Reed, we love Crystal Reed. I mean, I do, but fuck, I don't want to bring her back. And how? I don't fucking know. It's just like some ritual bullshit. And
Yeah.
uh, also Superman. Superman is back now. Tyler Hoechlin. This is before he becomes Superman. This Team Wolf character, which I know him before. Yeah, yeah. She's basically playing Superman here. Yeah, totally. And they didn't even try to tell me who is this Lois Lane in this movie. He just has a son. Fuck.
Hmm.
Oh my lord. I mean, it's like there's a lot of missed opportunities. Like it's like if I don't tell you, it's like Shelly Hyde's character. It's actually the daughter of what's it called? The daughter of the of like hold on a second of like of like like of like Tyler Hoechlin's uncle. The characters like
Yeah.
fuck, and they basically in this movie you can't even tell they're actually related, and he's actually her dog. He's actually her father. It's like it's so disconnected. It's actually quite insane. Um, I don't even know it's and there's a lot of explanation they kind of pull from the show. Just like okay, as long as this character return, you can actually explain a lot of things. But they just didn't. Just like no, just I have a feeling they just call a bunch of people and just like do you want to return? Yes. Fuck. We gotta figure out a story, right? Probably. It's like it's so simple, but they screw it up big time, and just like and I could not live with this being the conclusion at the end. It's just so disappointing, and it
Yeah,
just that
we just got that trend of like we gotta make sequels for shows that ended, like Zoe 102. I mean, Paramount has
yeah
been just been doing that lately, bringing back
yeah
endings for shows and trying to make new sequels for that.
basically I mean like every character is basically just a character. Like they have like one trait, and it's like I don't know. It's like that's they have one trait and just like yeah, and they're action figures. Just like throw some cool moves. That's it. Cool moves.
Yeah, I think Neil's pick for disappointing is Dead Reckoning. I think that's a good pick.
You should show that. Did you show that yet?
Yeah.
Uh,
Dead Reckoning was very disappointing. Major step down from Fallout. John Wick 4, it's kind of superficially likes it, but breaks apart when you think about it. I think it's a good pick for disappointing of the year. I mean, I don't know if like Dead Reckoning has the benefit of there is a part 2 coming out, so like would that fix it or not?
I don't know. It's such a weird move. It's I don't know why they introduced like the entity. The fucking AI, the AI. I was like, holy shit! Why would you introduce that as a villain? It's like fan fiction. Just by hearing that, like you can't just like Ethan Hunt's character has this past enemy 40 years ago. Just bring him back. Don't need the fucking AI.
Yeah. So yeah, that was Unity's disappointing movie of the year, the Teen Wolf movie. And for me, mine is a bit of an unorthodox pick. I chose the Stanley documentary. Um, Honestly, the thing about the Stanley documentary is, so this documentary is in the perspective is using recordings of his speaking basically. So like everything is in his POV with regards to what he thought about his life and things about that. And I think so. The part that is disappointing, I would say, is like it's not very honest. Because like so the thing about Stanley is a bit of a controversy overall because like it's obviously it's about like his creation, his involvement of getting into Marvel and like how Marvel became what it is now. And obviously like the creation of these characters and stuff like that. Kind of like that sort of it's just going through that story of how he became who he was. But the thing is like what you had like Jack Kirby's son write a letter about saying how it was completely dishonest about Jack Kirby, the creation of like a lot of Marvel characters, like in terms of like, you know, Stanley used to be the guy that used to say like, "Hey, can you draw me up a character that, for example, like he was saying, Stanley has said that he asked Jack Kirby to draw the Fantastic Four fighting a god, and what happened was that's basically all he would say. So Jack Kirby would have to take that very vague line. Um, Actually, I'll answer those questions at the end of the video. I promise I'll answer them.
Right.
Um, yeah. So um, so it's very generic. It's like very broad. As in like I want them to fight a god. That could be like fighting Zeus. That could be fighting um I don't know, like Vishnu, or like like that could be it could be that. But like the thing is like Jack Kirby makes up his own god, Galactus. And that's how Galactus was made. So it's like, did Stan Lee really invent Galactus, or did Jack Kirby invent Galactus? That's kind of like the question. And then for Silver Surfer, for example, he doesn't really. So Jack Kirby is the one who made Silver Surfer as well, and Stanley really loves Silver Surfer as well. So it's like so that's kind of like the conflict. It's like Steve Ditko, Jack Kirby, Stanley. They were all like primary factors of what made Marvel the way it is. But he has like as Neil mentioned, Stan had a bad habit of taking too much credit for his accomplishments, notably with Jack Kirby. He did try to reconcile this, but yeah, it was ignoring it was bad. And that's really kind of the other issue is like because this documentary is in his point of view, you can't really hear that other unbiased filter because like otherwise like they do play like the argument between Jack Kirby and Stanley on a talk show about how Jack Kirby got really pissed at Stan and how that whole disdain for uh that whole disdain, how that kind of like set the foundations of like where lost a relationship out of that. And it's like I know but like for some people, like some people don't really know that about Stan Lee. It's like they see him as the cameo guy, the old guy in that movie that you see him many times, and it's like, oh, that's a friendly guy. But like I don't know. It's like one of the things about Stan Lee is like his history is not as solid as you think it is. And I feel like there was a way to you could like have that discussion in terms of like those perspectives, like how it affected other people. Because like a lot of comic people are really they're not treated well. Like Ed Brubaker was the guy who made Winter Soldier. But the thing is, like, he gets more money from the Nolan movies, that put like random GCPD cops. He gets more money for them than he does for
Winter Soldier.
the Winter Soldier. That's the Winter Soldier who is still having more movies and more characterization, more TV shows and stuff like that. He's getting more money from the Nolan movies that put like random Joe Schmoes in the GCPD.
Yeah.
Jim Starlin, a big one. He gets more money for KG Beast in Batman v Superman. The guy with the giant flamethrower gun. he gets more money for him than he does for Thanos in
Yeah,
the MCU. So
I I remember they actually talk about like the one of the comic writers. Fuck, I'm not comic guy. It's like, he's like Marvel didn't pay him when he has like Havok in the movie, and like but DC pays him for some character. I don't know who.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know who is the writer, who's the director. Havok. Yeah, I don't know who that is. So
yeah.
I can yeah.
Yeah, and that's really the other thing is like something I will give Stan credit. He was a good face for Marvel. I knew folks who met him and worked with him, and they said he's very genuine. Yeah, that's true. And I do want to say like I don't want to say like I want to dismiss this documentary in terms of like making Stan look much better than he is in real life because he is a good he was a good person like overall, and like obviously in his 95 years of life. But you know there it's not completely honest because everything is in his point of view in the documentary, so you can't really get that unbiased filter of like the people he did screw over during the creation of Marvel. Not to mention like Stanley gets a lot more credit in terms of like you know because yeah he was a very good like speaker in general. Like he would be the face. He would go to these colleges and talk about Marvel characters, and like he would be able to he's able to he's very easy to love in general. So it's like so that's why some people feel like he gets a lot of credit for things that he probably didn't do
Yeah,
over the course of his career, and that's kind of like
yeah,
why that's why people have mixed feelings about him overall. And
it's
that's what
weird because
it's kind of the
yeah.
issue with the documentary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because yep, I because I saw this documentary and I never seen him. I don't read comics, so it's like I don't know this guy for what he did. I was like, and when I saw it, I was like, that sounds bullshit. A lot of things just sounds bullshit. Literally, it was like what? Like it's like because it's hard to say because like I don't know. It's like like Steve Dakota is an asshole and Jack Kirby is also an asshole. It's like what? I don't believe a
I mean
second.
it's like I will
There has
say
to be
like
missing context.
I I will say to be fair like everybody has like a moment where they're an asshole to somebody else. Like even if you don't feel like it, like you might have been an asshole to somebody, or they might have been an asshole to you. So I don't really mind that. It's just like with Steve and uh, Jack, for example. It's like obviously they're not alive anymore, so they can't like speak on it. Um, so like that's unfortunate for them. But it's like Stanley lived much longer, so he's able to talk more and more about this career and like maybe some things were just
Uh,
seen more in his point of view and like kind of gets out of the other context. And obviously, like with the whole cameo thing, it's like because like one thing I didn't like about Jack Kirby's son's letter about Stanley is like it's like you know because he's saying like well first off he compared him to like his father to Michelangelo. So it's like all right, dude, now you're maybe if I can agree with you, it's like but you sound pretentious as fuck. So it's like I don't know about that. Um, so yeah, it's like, and obviously it's like Stanley has passed away. It's like, what's the point of berating a dead man?
and
So
to be honest, I would if I went him, I'd just blame Marvel. I just and it's actually
yeah,
quite Marvel promoting. It's like, at
yeah,
the end, it just like jump from 1970 something. I don't know. It's like
yeah. That's
dude,
that's 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 like the major thing. Is like he the documentary just goes through his life, and then all of a sudden it just cuts from 1980s to
Marvel to it's like
2010,
I was
which is
like
like
oh
there's a lot of his life missing there. Like for example, like Marvel was going bankrupt. Don't mention that. Or how the movies were doing so bad and how it took until Blade being somewhat decent that saved Marvel from losing their rights forever. Not to mention like the X-Men, where I think that was like his first major cameo as in the Marvel movies, in X-Men 1. Um, then obviously like the transition to the MCU, stuff like that. There's a lot of things from there's like 40 years missing from the Stanley documentary about that, and it just goes straight to the MCU. So it kind of just the documentary kind of gives up a vibe. It's like, yeah, he was the Marvel creator, and then he became the MCU grandpa that does cameos in the MCU. That's
Yeah.
basically it. Um, yeah, so
Uh,
it's kind of missing some of that conflict that he had uh, within the 40 years of his life. So yeah,
mm.
I just don't think it was that's what makes it disappointing. I'd say.
It's not just like because I don't even know what to say. Just this sounds just this is just like I just thought this is flat out lying at that point. It's like I know it's just Stanley's voice, but they present it in a Marvel angle. It's like yeah, he's right. It's like holy shit. I was like,
Yeah,
wait,
that's also what makes it worse is because he can't say anything because he's not here with us anymore. But it's Marvel pushing this narrative
yeah,
when Marvel also had these other writers and directors and stuff. Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
t-
it's very weird not to mention that
that
big period of time. Yeah, 40 years is crazy.
yeah, and they go through like his before he turns into writers, like how I met his wife. To be honest, those are the best part. Nothing about the comics,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah, I really liked the section about him talking about his wife.
I was like, I was like, and then they just talking about comics. Like, okay, you sound like bullshit right now. I was like, do you remember like the section for like what do you know this like X-Men? I was like, I never asked you. I was like, huh? Because I remember you said that the civil rights movement is just literally just a coincidence, and they just like and Marvel just basically
Yeah, that's something like people always give him credit. People keep saying like Stanley had the credit of like making the X-Men related to the civil rights movement. He's always mentioned that it was an accident. That
yeah.
was kind of like it was a coincidence that that happened. It was just kind of like, you have this whole thing about prejudice of like people who have differences of their beings, and the X-Men were just kind of like a similar concept, but it wasn't really because of the civil rights movement. So it's not really fair to give him credit for something that he didn't do.
Uh, yeah, it's like
I also find it weird when they said Marvel's like the first one to like actually notice black people.
jeez.
It's like in an interview, it's like really it's
uh,
because Black Panther was there, but it's like I mean there were black characters prior. It's just Black Panther was the first notable one. But like it's just weird to say Marvel has the credit of recognizing black people. That's just I don't know. That was just a silly comment, I guess.
oh my god. Yeah. To be honest, I don't even. I was like this. At least this I can brush aside. I don't know because the brush aside fact is not connected to anything. I just hear it as a one off. But I think someone would just hear this and just like, is this Stanley? And is everything of they say is true? I don't know, man. To be honest, I already just watched the shit out of like the Michael J. Fox documentary this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the ending was kind of rushed.
So yeah, that was my best film of the sorry, my disappointing film of the year. The Stanley documentary, and that leaves us to the
The
final
worst.
section.
Jesus.
Um, the worst films of the year, and Unity.
Reality, starring Sydney Sweeney, also based on a play, and also which is based on FBI documentary word by word.
And this is actually Unity's worst movie of the year.
Yeah, it's not well indie wise, at least. Indie wise, this is the worst.
You
I
said
don't
indie
even.
wise and in general.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, in general, because I don't even know what to say because this movie doesn't really have the break character assassinated. It's like in the plot is basically just a fucking script. So it's basically nothing. So it's based on a play called "Is This a Room" by Tina Satter. It's about the interrogation of an intelligence leaker reality winner. The totally not evil person that the movie that's really trying to portray as good. Oh, I mean, my God. So this is word by word of an FBI documentary. It's about them talking about trying to expose her secret. Is she the person who leaked the thing? It's just so weird. It's like I don't know. It's like there's no story there. It's like it's like reality. Just like there's no character. They're just talking. It's like they didn't reveal anything. It just like yeah, she feels afraid. The FBI just talking. There's no plot. There's no story. In the sense that there's no progression. Just like the FBI comes here and just expected to arrest her. That's it. I mean, what is the motivation? What's reality's motivation for leaking stuff? Context. She leaked stuff for the 2016 um, election. The Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton one, and they try to like, and she leaks the fact that something I don't know if it's true because I could not because I'm not I don't live in America just like and
Yeah.
some like Russia stuff, and all I can think of is wait, okay, what? Why do you do that? Oh, this is basically the explanation, which I just think the fucking writers who made the play and this movie copy it based on FBI word by word, didn't even read the transcript because my workplace plays Fox News.
Hmm.
That's why I hacked into the 2006 election and leaked information. I'm not kidding. This is their explanation. And,
Well, you can just add Sydney Sweeney to the I Can Fix Her list.
yeah.
And yeah.
Yep. And this movie just like yeah, this absolutely real person is actually a really good person by the way. And this movie is basically nothing. Is that it doesn't even have a barely has a story. It's just some guy talked to a girl and they want to arrest her anyway. So fuck off. So fuck you. Um, and they portray her as a real person. It's like it's like they put a quote at her at the end. It's like if you like remove context, because if you're list, if I'm not here to be political. I don't want to, but you guys should look into this. You guys should really look into reality Winner as a person. Even if you don't, this movie has a hard time convincing you. Yeah, click on that.
So it doesn't even have quote unquote plot.
Yes, it doesn't have any.
Yeah, it's like, what's the point of getting Sydney Sweeney then? Really?
I
I'm
don't
kidding. I'm
know.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
uh, to be
I'm
honest,
not really, but I'm kidding.
yeah.
But yeah.
This is such a good. To be honest, I've seen a lot of plays because I said that before. I do also do theater. I also watch a lot of theater stuff right now. There's a lot when it comes to people talking. It's a theater thing. People talk. If like two-person, a two or three-person in a room, that's it. It's a character focus. But this story is fucking nothing. It's just like it doesn't even have a story. It's just I was like, if you just want to see a good play about like two-person talking, like just watch something like Blackbird or just the father. Yeah, the father is actually based on a play, and
Yeah.
like who's afraid of the Virginia Woolf or just like fuck it, just like the Andrew Scott one. It's like what's it called? Seawall or just
Yeah.
lemon. Or lemons. I was like, I still have problems with that play, but it's like it's good. It's still good for the characterizations, and it's also two people talking, and Jenna Coleman. So
Yes. So yeah, that was Unity's worst indie movie, also worst film of the year. Reality. For me, my worst indie, it's pretty generic. It's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Uh, I'll go quick because there's really nothing to talk about because it's just taking advantage of the public domain being open. So Winnie the Pooh. Well, what? Why don't we just put the Winnie the Pooh characters and make them evil and evil cannibals, killers, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's that's basically it. Christopher Robin goes into the forest. He finds these. He finds Winnie the Pooh, Piglet, Tiger, shit, Tigger, um, Owl, and Rabbit, and they basically feel, they Christopher Robin basically gives them food, but then eventually, when he goes to college, he has to leave, and this makes the Winnie and his friends like unable to fend for themselves, and so they have to. So basically, what they do is they eat Eeyore, and then this is where they vowed to keep their silence and be killers. And that's basically it. Christopher Robin does go back with his wife, and well, what do you know? They kill his wife. Then a group of four come in to the cabin. They all get killed as well, and yeah, it's I mean, what kind of analysis can you really give Unity?
I don't know. It's like
Uh,
the character sucks. Yeah, I mean they don't make any sense because before they meet Christopher Robin, they're already like, animals and they can already talk. So
yeah,
it doesn't even make
it's
sense for
fucking
the
shit.
yeah the foundation is already like nonsense. Um,
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, uh, it's clearly two grown men in a pig mask and a somewhat looking poo mask and call it a day. So it's very cheap, and it's like, I mean, obviously it's like they got $100,000 budget, and it's like there are films that do really well with that low of a budget, like Blair Witch Project.
uh,
Um, so it's or the Poltergeist, not that Poltergeist, the it's one of those one where you see it through the cameras. It'll probably come back to me, but yeah, it's like, I mean, like those are low budget films, but they do really well with the budget. You just have to have the vision. This is just get the two. It's just like if you take out Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, it's just an average, not even average. It's a very bad slasher movie that yeah, I mean, and then also like you have things like, oh, these characters can't talk. Yeah, because you probably just don't your actors probably just can't do that, like make the Winnie the Pooh voice or the Piglet voice. So it's like, yeah, we'll just vow their silence, and all that. I mean, I guess like one positive is you get to see some tits, I guess.
mhm.
Uh, but it was like Paranormal Activity. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that was a good one.
yeah, that's a good one. It's like,
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, but that's basically it. I mean, Christopher Robin. I mean, basically throughout the movie, you have him like saying like, "Pooh, why are you doing this to me?" It's like we used to be friends. We used to be friends, and then sometimes the Pooh character would like maybe he might do like he might cry or something like that. But then it's like, but then he goes right back to the killing, right back to the uh he whips him with Eeyore's tail. Um,
yeah,
he pours his wife's blood all over him. So it's like, I don't know. It's just like it's just basically let's find the most gruesome things to do for an hour and a half. Uh, but yeah, that's basically the movie. Then it ends with Pooh basically saying like, it's like you let her go and I will live with you forever and all that stuff. Pooh is like, but you left. That's his only time he spoke, and then slices her, stabs her, and Christopher Robin runs away, and that's how it ends. Yeah, nothing.
I yeah, that's I don't even know what is the story.
Yeah.
I I
So
mean I
we already got a sequel and a cinematic universe planned.
jeez yeah.
Um, for it, it got its money. It got millions of dollars. So it got its money,
Uh,
and then also the same crew is actually working on as Akshay as Akshay mentioned. They have another Disney IP that they're working on, Peter Pan. Uh, they're making a Peter Pan similar concept of what if Peter Pan was a cannibal, and
Right.
yeah, that's they're working on that movie right now. So yeah, this whole thing with the public domain thing is like, yeah, this is just going to keep happening. Uh,
Yep.
the more public domains get available for these franchises. So expect more of that kind of bullshit moving forward. That's all I can really say.
Yep. And expect a lot more bullshit, like shitty plays adapted into screenplays. $2. I don't think a lot of plays are that good. It's like I mean, people just like shit on
I
the
mean, yeah, it's
what.
like basically with the public domain being there, it's like you can basically get any fan fiction
Yeah.
and try to make money off of it
Yeah.
now. So it's like
Yeah.
I know like a lot of people fear like, like what if you get the hands of Batman and Superman? Cuz that those dates are coming close in terms of the
But to be fair, we have so many evil
public
Supermans left.
domain. So,
We
yeah.
have so much. We have so many evil Supermans. I don't think everyone would still bother with that.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yep.
But yeah, that was my worst indie of the film of the
I
year.
mean, to be honest, yep. At least this has a story inside, somewhat, instead
I
of a
guess.
fucking transcript.
Yeah.
Life.
So it looks like Neil's pick was Cocaine
Uh,
Bear. Yeah.
yeah, they could just make it a B movie. It's like fuck it, let's just go insane.
Yeah, and I think we're unanimous in terms of our worst film of the year in terms of blockbusters. The Flash.
Yeah, this is the worst.
Can't wait for Steamboat Willie the Killer. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, The Flash is the worst blockbuster of the year.
Yeah, it's not the worst movie for me. It's still like reality, which is I don't know. I find there's no story worse than there's a story. It's like Daughters of the Dust. I just like because they show it to me and I was like, what's the plot? I was like, I don't know. People fuck around, I guess. Literally, the entire movie just people just hang on the island doing jack shit. And the end
Yeah.
of the movie, just like we're all gonna die. Let's die, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, so we all know The Flash. The Flash is starring a criminal in the role, allegedly, but highly likely. And basically, the Flash, missing his mom, wants to go back to save her, but it causes a ripple in time, and basically, Man of Steel is happening all over again, but this time no Superman, and yeah,
Yeah.
and Michael Keaton
That's
is there.
Yep. Great. I love my movies. They're just so cute, man.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, what is there to say about the Flash that hasn't been said multiple times? You know, yeah, yeah, they definitely should recast the Flash. I expect him to do that. James Gunn to do that.
Yeah.
He'd be stupid if he wasn't. Um, yeah, the Flash is the worst and overrated pick because even if one person gives it praise, it's too much. Yeah, that's true. More like the trash. It basically tries to do No Way Home, but worst.
Uh, Great. I just got to cap off this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, go ahead.
I don't even know what to say. It's like everyone said it before. The time travel is broken. Ezra Miller is a terrible character. Doesn't learn anything at the end. Also,
Yeah,
during also the dead people cameos.
yeah, the chromodome of dead cameos. Like honestly, like let's take out the bias of like it's not bias, it's facts, but like let's just for the sake of an argument, like let's just say you are a unbiased fan watching the movie here in 2023. You watch this movie and they have this whole thing with the dome of all of these previous Supermans, previous Batmans, someone that doesn't even exist, Nicolas Cage Superman. And it's like if you are like not a DC fan at all, how on earth do you feel? Do you think you would feel when you watch that scene?
I will be like, what the fuck? Why is that CGI that people there? What the fuck am I looking at?
Yeah, the
What?
CGI, the AI looking is really bad. That's true.
Yeah, it's
I
like,
guess my main perspective is like, who is this for? Like, is this for like the 50-plus-year-old DC fans, or is this for like, I don't know. It's like I feel like you would have been better off like if you were doing things like I don't know, like I guess like Brennan Ruth Superman, Christian Bale Batman, or like things that are more recent. I think that would have, and then maybe have like maybe one or two things that are old, but like all of these things are like 50 plus, like
yeah.
40 plus years
I
in
mean,
the
they could have
past.
just they actually got Helen's letter, but they de-aged her somehow.
Yeah, like Helen Slater was invited to the red carpet, but she wasn't there. It was still AI.
Oh my lord.
Yeah,
They could just like they want to play Supergirl again for just a few seconds. Like just I would just give you a lot of money. Yeah, that was.
yeah. Some good points. Some good points in trash. The animated Flashpoint does a better job adapting the story with less time and good messages. I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah, that's better.
It's I also love the fact, yeah, this movie introduces the calorie count for Barry, and it does nothing with it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like it's only there for like the baby scene, which is yeah, that
That's a
scene. Honestly,
every.
I really I really have no idea why they did that.
It's like, I mean, there's like yeah,
There's no Flash villains in this movie. Like you literally have Alberto Falcone in this
yeah.
movie. You can't get a single Flash villain
I
in a
literally just
Flash
called
movie.
I literally just called like Dark Flash, whatever. Just called Discount Avatar. Yeah, that not from the comics, from the TV show.
Also, Nicolas Cage recently stated in an interview that he was actually on set and had a costume, and they decided last minute to replace him with a Robert Zemeckis movie. Yeah.
Oh
AI.
my lord, Jesus.
Yeah, that's honestly crazy. Honestly, like I don't like. I guess like I don't hate the concept of getting Nicolas Cage for that kind of scene. Make it real, first off. But like, I mean, like if you're doing this whole thing and it's gonna focus on the multiverse, you might as well just go try to commit to that idea at that point. What's the point of just like getting like a whole chroma dome of like clips and just like nothing else with it? At that point, you're just taking the whole concept of the multiverse and not even trying to use it in any aspect as a story. So it's like that's why people are really hating this whole like multiverse trend. It's like they're doing such a bad job with it as well. It's like I don't know.
Yeah. This movie has been so much production hell, and it's insane. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, my thing with the Flash is like obviously like no Flash villains. Um, you barely get like his CSI buddies. Like maybe like 2 minutes and that's it.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, it's like there's really nothing that really grounds the Flash other than him and his mother, which yes, that is a critical part of the Flash. But like I don't know, it's just like I've always hated the whole concept of like let's make Flashpoint the first movie. Why don't do that? There's so many
yeah.
things you could do with Barry Allen in the Flash as a character, and we just don't get to see that because people always just want to go straight to the Flashpoint, which is really egregious.
I mean, I don't. To be fair, I don't even know why the animated movie just like yeah. Let's just start with a cinematic animated universe. Like what's the first movie?
Well, to be
Flashpoint. It's like
fair, I don't think it was planned to be an animated cinematic universe. I think that was more of a that was just like something they decided to do, and then just oh, I guess the Flash could be the first movie.
and then they just put Justice League Dark as a post credit scene.
Also,
It's
the
like
animated films they kind of have the benefit of being a little bit more comic accurate, so like it's a little bit
yeah, I guess
it's a
even
bit
that
easier to transition into it, I guess.
even that I was like, wait, Flashpoint is the first movie, and the second movie like, oh, what's the second movie? Justice League Dark was like, that's a bit of a jump,
Yeah.
and By the way, you won't. I will not watch Justice League Dark unless someone invited me for a screening or something. Like,
Yeah,
jeez, God, because I almost watched Justice League Dark today, but most people fall for Lego Batman, so and Lego Batman, but Lego Batman is fucking awesome.
yeah, yeah. The Flash has like a lot of good characters that you could work with his own rogues gallery, his own his own supporting cast. I mean, like honestly, like the one thing I hope for DC, the new DCU, is just do the Flash. But like, I honestly feel like they've probably killed like anybody's want to have Barry Allen back now. Like, I feel like, which I guess there's nothing wrong with that per se. You could just like kind of just go with Wally West and like move forward. But it is unfortunate. Like it's just like you could have done something with Barry Allen,
But
and it's pretty bad.
you just
Uh,
didn't. Nice.
yeah, and like obviously this is like a film where you have like focuses on like Supergirl, Sasha Calle.
Yeah.
Um, like I don't hate her, but I don't like her in the role either. I mean, but I don't have a problem with her either. I think Sasha Calle is a really nice
Yeah.
person.
Basically, and I don't really have much. I don't really just like because everyone just talked to dad about this movie already. We're just speaking our personal thoughts of what we want and dislike, what we don't want. That's
Yeah, Michael
basically.
Keaton. He's for some
Yeah.
reason a multiverse expert, despite never seeing it
Yeah.
before.
And it's this movie is connected to Arrow first, so fuck you. The rules are broken.
Yeah, but
Uh,
like, there's this whole thing. It's like, but maybe that's not the Barry Allen of the DCU, and that could be just
uh,
an alternate version of him. Nah, that's bullshit. If you
uh,
use the same actor, same concepts, I mean, the whole thing is like the Flash doesn't get his name until after the Arrowverse Flash,
yeah.
and if you look at Justice League, even Zack Snyder's Justice League, he's never called the Flash. He's only called Barry Allen.
And also, in Titans, the TV show, which is actually part of Arrow first. They
Yeah,
used a clip from Shazam movie, so that's the DCEU in the like a fucking
yeah,
multiverse stuff. Yeah, just and also I lost motive to make that video because life stuff. So, by the
right.
way, yeah, God.
Yeah, the Flash is I mean, I guess like the only decent part of the movie is like the talk with his mother. But
I
then like
mean,
obviously the stuff afterwards is the problem. But like
yeah, I don't know, but it's my favorite part is basically what's it called? Boba Fett just came out just like, hey, fuck off, asshole. I was like, okay,
yeah,
that part legit makes me laugh.
yeah. Then honestly, I mentioned in a previous pod like I didn't hate the George Clooney reveal at the end.
Yeah.
Like just I don't know. I thought that was neat. Um just but like in more of a sense, like I know this franchise is ending, so who really cares how it ends, really? So
Yeah. Well,
that's kind of
we
my
still
thing.
have
So it's like with
Aquaman too.
George Clooney being the guy there as the Bruce Wayne is here. I just thought that was a clever kind of ending in that sense. But that's all I'll give it because I like George Clooney, so that's why.
Yeah, I just yeah, like I mean, it's better than Michael Keaton. It's like in the present, it's like low. It's George Clooney now.
Yeah. So yeah, that was our worst film of the year for
Yeah.
blockbusters.
To be honest, if you want to hear like more thorough breakdown, just listen to someone else. Just we just like we this being talked to that already.
Yeah. And yeah, that was our best, worst, disappointing, underrated, and overrated movies of 2023. I hope that was entertaining for you guys who were able to listen.
Yeah,
And yeah, I guess I'll address some of the comments from earlier. Just as we're wrapping up. Yeah, so Akshay, like you were mentioning well, waiting for my fan cast video. Yeah, I I won't be able to work on it now. I think I'll probably get back to that next year. My plan right now is to work on the Alpha Flight for the mutant team in Marvel for the next one. Another comment you mentioned is what I like the X Men and the older, and then the Brotherhood to be like older or younger. So like for me, I think it's like I think I'd probably keep them yeah, like relatively in their 30s. Obviously you have your older characters as you mentioned, Magneto and Xavier. But then like I do want to try to get like X-Men, but then also try to put the new mutants and other younger mutant characters that are there, Helions, stuff like that. So at least that's what I would do. I still think the MCU needs to, reset. Which sounds like they're trying to do that for Secret Wars, but I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
I just don't know how many people would really care at that point after a soft reboot. But yeah, that's just kind of the problem. Um, Operation asked, just curious, how often would you say you watch movies?
For me, it's I used to watch a lot of movies, but after I came out of uni, it's like I don't have time to watch movies. But I got a lot of streaming screening opportunities, so I watched a lot of like old movies, like just like why I finished all the Stanley Kubrick movies. It's like that's how I watch it because someone forced me to just just watch all of them. It's like the movie on Monday I saw is Sleepless in Seattle, so I love that movie. And but it's like it's mostly just new movies. Beforehand, I watched a lot of 2000 the current year movies. Now just like I watch it once in a while, and especially like I just don't have time to watch new movies nowadays. So I'll watch it when I have time, but for now I'll just watch someone else screen for me, and some are just voluntary, just like the Lego Batman movie today. I just came because I wanted to.
Yeah. Um, for me, I watch usually during the before the year starts. I usually just like look through the list, what I'm particularly interested in, and then like
Which
maybe if
Lego
there's like an actor or actress that I like, then like I see what they're working on for this year,
which
and then
Lego
like
Batman? Yeah,
yeah, then I plan according to that. I mean, obviously, I can't watch every movie of the year.
yeah.
Not
Uh,
that I want to, but yeah, I try to plan according to that.
yeah. Like
Which Lego Batman movie?
there's more than one Lego Batman movie. Um,
He means the regular one, the 2017 one, I think.
yeah, the 2017 one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, I was like, I think that's like one of my favorite DC movies of all time. After like a rewatch.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't. Do you count that? I don't know. Do you count that as a DC movie? It's just it's Lego
yeah.
Batman.
I mean, obviously, I wouldn't because like it does rely. It relies on Lego having like all the brands in it, but yeah, it's still a DC movie by technicality. So it's up to the interpretation. But yeah, that pretty much sums up our thoughts the on our films of the year. I If you guys have any other comments, if you want to make your own list in the comment section down below, uh, I don't have a problem with that. But we are going to let you know once again as a reminder that we are currently moving these podcast episodes onto another channel, another Reviews Core podcast. This is where you can find the episodes the next day after the live stream happens. And you'll be able to subscribe to that channel in the link in the description down below of this video. And also, like, um, one second. Operation. I've been the opposite with movies recently. I've been trying to see more, both new and old.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, me as well. Just yeah. The people who screen movies are just old movies. I mean, the only time I got invited to a new movie is like the Five Nights at Friday movie. That's terrible. Bro. But I just have to shut up by saying when everyone just loves it. I was like, fuck.
Yeah. For me, old movies like these days, like I haven't been able to kind of go through that. It's more like
Yeah.
because I do a lot of fan casting videos. So like if I do a fan casting video, then I do watch an old movie from the actor that or actress that I'm talking about. If it's like that important for me to talk about in the discussion of my case for them as a character or not. That's usually when I watch an old movie these days. But yeah, that's kind of like how I kind of go through that. But yeah. So if you want to see the podcast episodes after today or the next day, you'll be able to see it on another Reviews Corp podcast. I have the link in the description down below and on my channel. So please be sure to subscribe to it. We would really appreciate that. And also be sure to check out the Spotify, which is also in the description down below. And yeah, that's about it. Unity, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye. I'll be very busy in December because that's what I do. So I'll still have a podcast, but a lot of work. I have to go back to write stuff after this podcast ended. So yay.
Yeah, and same thing here. I'm currently working on my John Walker part 2 video. I'm almost complete with that. I'm trying to get it down before Christmas, so be on the lookout for that. And as I said, I will work on a fancast video for the Alpha Flight Mutants team. So keep an eye out for that as well. And that's it from us. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.